What you think about when you're born into a fire? Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. The brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. And we feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame.
Joey from Chicago says. Won it in 1170. Dazzle 500 says. Hola. DRJ Banana says. Joey from Chicago, hi Joey. Jeff Burt says. Sub all and pocket. Christopher Sandor says. Hey hey. Won it in 1170 says. EY it's Joey from Chicago. Joey from Chicago says. Bug dude. Me and you too says. He all. Rising One Phoenix says. Hashtag Will for class president. Miss Briss says. Chart. Rochelle Kretschke says. Hello Will. Won it in 1170 says. LMAO. Joey from Chicago says. Rising One Phoenix. Southern Belle 1776 says. Let's fucking go. DRJ Banana says. Hashtag Team Sunshine. Annalie 3000 says. Greetings. Knieve 118 says.
Don't make my robot cuss, okay?
Cubs fan 16 says. Good evening. Real Redville 78 GF says. Carrie is a lush. Kellen 0001 says. Hi all. Jeff Burt says. Need sexy voice. Joder.
Sounds pretty sexy to me.
Looking forward to the entertainment tonight. Joey from Chicago.
Yoder.
Old Beer Confessional, what's up Beerman? Jason Krotz 314 says. Hey folks, hey Will. Spicy Atsuko says. Hashtag Team Sunshine. Dazzle 500 says. Phil Godlewski is a liar. Bonus Nappy Teeth says. Dr. J Banana. Joey from Chicago says. Beerman is my hero. Chrism 389 says. Phil hates his penis. Mark Greer says. Wow, here from the beginning. Rare. Real Firefly says. Hey y'all. Mustang Sally 74 says. Scotty Too Hottie. Southern Belle 1776 says. Praise Quesus.
We'll end on that. Praise Quesus. Thank you very much for playing with my robot, I guess. That's the most entertainment I get in a day sometimes. Thank you guys for joining us. I'm Will Bird, Cold Beer Confessional. We are going to kill this music, play the intro. Scott Waddell's intro. The Scott Waddell's intro.
Hello, Will Bird at the Cold Beer Confessional. This is from your friend, Dr. J. Banana. Well, Bird, sorry about the loss of your legs in the washing machine accident. I hope you have good luck getting the money up for your new titanium legs. If you need anything at all, I mean anything at all, the Power Rangers have your back. It's morphin' time! Tiger Zord!
Welcome, everybody. I am Will Bird. This is the Cold Beer Confessional. Thank you for joining us. Let's switch the camera around. Appreciate you guys coming out tonight. Not too late of a start, a little bit later than normal, but we got started, so thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate it. We were playing with the robot. The robot reads the messages. Let's see if it would read one.
Verontake says, "Hey Will and chat."
Satagozord.
Zuko says, "Whoa. Dazzle 500.
Whoa.
Another liar."
Thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate it. I'm Will Bird. This is Cold Beer Confessional, and we'll go ahead and get started. We're going to talk about a few things. Chip tried to confront Phil. It didn't go so well. Somebody just told me, well, I just saw it before I got started because I haven't been doing a good job of checking my messages, that someone said Mountain Man was going after me because I exposed Madison Marquette. I have no idea who Mountain Man is. Does anybody? Mountain Man. But Mountain Man was going after me because I exposed Madison Marquette. I might try to find that here in a little bit. I asked him who it was. We're going to talk mostly about Chip, Phil, more of Phil's bullshit. We'll probably get over on some other things. We'll just have to see how that ends up. Yeah, depend on how it goes. They actually sent me this message on. Let me check. They actually sent me the message about Mountain Man on Friday, and they were talking about a different channel. So I'll go check that channel from Friday, maybe. What day was Friday? I'm really bad about checking my damn messages from. It was the 3rd. So maybe they're talking about this channel. I'll go through it and see. Either way, thank you guys for joining us tonight. I appreciate that. And I can tell you see Derek Johnson. Derek Johnson, if you happen to see this video, or if anybody just wants to spam all your Telegram accounts, your Twitter account, your Facebook account, everything, with reach out to Will at coldbeerconfess@gmail.com. He wants to host a debate between you and the Space Force captain. Reach out to Will at coldbeerconfess@gmail.com. He wants to host a debate between you and the Space Force captain. I would greatly appreciate that. Thank you guys. If you would like to just inundate him with messages and comments and emails and phone calls, and just let him know we're out here. If you want to support the show, the best thing you can do is like, share, and comment. You can comment on the live stream. You can comment in the you comment on the live stream. You comment on once the video is posted. Both of those would be good. I appreciate that. I appreciate you guys taking time to do that. That's awesome. And if you want to support the stream above and beyond, you can do that at coldbeer.fund, coldbeer.fund, coldbeer.fund. And you can leave a donation there. Make sure you leave a message. We'll read it live on air. You can use Buy Me a Coffee. That's this website. Leave your name and a message. I'll read it live on air. You can buy our merch. That's here. We got stickers, T-shirts, whatever. Coffee mugs, pillows. This is another donation site over here with a skull logo. But Patreon, you get extra content every week. Join for as little as $2 a month. We got a couple of Patreon shows to catch up on, so you'll probably get some extra if you join in the next few days. I got some I got to make up, so there'll be extra ones. And again, thank you guys for joining us. All the donations go back to the show. We run it 7 days a week. Keep it going 7 days a week, 7 free shows, 7 days a week. We do a pretty good job at it. But if you don't want to, it's a free show. You can just watch it. It's no requirement. Don't feel guilty. Don't feel like you have to. It's a free show 7 days a week. And then we do some extra Patreon content when we feel like it. Other than that, guys, we'll go ahead and get started. Let's open up Phil Godlewski on the big Telegram channel. God, he's such fucking... I can't imagine how much he was made fun of in school. I can't imagine. I mean, before he became a secret agent, you guys know. Before he started working for the CIA, I can't imagine. I've just been thinking about his dress, his attitude, just him in general. So Phil Godlewski, his Telegram update is: People's Bank of China buys another 15 tons of gold in January, third straight month. For the third month in a row, China has reported an increase in their gold reserves. Prior to November 2022, China had not reported their gold holdings since 2019. So they just started reporting their gold holdings, and they're buying more of it. Phil says, "I think I know why," with a slanted smiley face as if he's on the inside. He forwards a post from Anon Famous, but it's like Famous is separated. It says the pit was a way for feds to attempt to bring the Anons back into the Matrix, the same way Agent Smith did at Morpheus, destabilize the influencers from the inside, cause a rift to divide, and to pit others against each other. How do they do this? With a low-hanging fruit of turning an Anon into a legit news journalist. Pay influencers to side with them in order to attempt to destroy the movement. This is psychological warfare, and only the strong and logical will survive. So now they're going after the guy who did the pit. I can't even remember his name right now, but Greg Phillips. Yeah, Greg Phillips. They're going after him. And Phil says, you also... What the fuck just happened? Why did my chat go down? Oops, something went wrong. What went wrong? Fix it. Phil says, you all saw right through Greg Phillips, and you were right. This is why Phillips didn't want me there after he personally invited me. He knew I would keep the Anons together no matter what type of influence he tried to employ. We see you, Greg. You will not stop us ever. So Phil was never, ever, ever invited to the pit. He challenged him to a debate, and upon accepting that debate, they were either going to have it in person there or remotely there. And when he challenged Phil to debate, and Phil said, anytime, any place, where you want to go. And then before he hit enter on that, he was already typing out how he was going to back out because it was greater for the community. Phil's a joke. This is why Greg didn't want me there. This is also why he suggested to everyone, get off Telegram. The reason you need to get off Telegram, I wish I wasn't on Telegram, to be honest with you. Telegram is a cesspool for conspiracy theories. People are hopping each other up. People sending each other into paranoia spirals of, oh my God, this is happening. I can't believe it. Everybody's talking about it. But Telegram's such a small sect and such a echo chamber, I guess. It's almost all conservatives. It's almost all conservatives that believe in QAnon. It's almost all conservatives that believe in these weird conspiracy theories. And they just piling on top of each other to where you think, God damn, like everybody I interact with believes the water's got snake venom in it. And it just builds up in your mind, and you think that the general population believes that, and they don't. Like, Telegram is a very, very, very tiny sect of people. The only reason I'm there is because the grifters are there, and then I would rather everybody be on my Discord, but that's not where people come from when they finally get away. Telegram is a cesspool. I wish I wasn't even on it. Phil then shares a video that says the sun caught shining through the firmament and circling above the earth. Oh, no. He says, learn about our sun is truly remarkable. He then shares a video that says, silver alert, the U.S. Mint secretly producing and hoarding American silver eagle coins by Big Swear. I don't give a damn if Big Swear got this from the Wall Street Journal himself. You cannot trust Big Swear. You can't. You just better go find the source yourself. Forwarded from Deanna Leach, RSBN playing Trump interview. The end was questions, one-word answer. He asked him what one golf club would he pick if he could. Only use one. 5-iron. What one person living or deceased would he wish to play golf with? His father. Then, when is the last time you drove a car? 6 years. Why does this matter? Because he can't drive a car if he's president. This is absolutely not true. If the president is in his official capacity, of course he can't. Like if he's going somewhere, he's meeting someone, he's doing this. Secret Service drive him. Presidents then continue to have Secret Service. But if a president wanted to say, hey, I got a classic car, that's my thing, that's what I do on the weekends, he could absolutely drive his fucking car with Secret Service inboard and following. Absolutely. I think we have famous pictures of presidents driving them, like not in public, not going anywhere, not going to a meeting, but like around their estates, around their hometowns. And why does I know if you Google it, it's going to say why presidents can't drive cars. That's like in an official capacity, right? They're not allowed to drive anywhere. But I'm pretty sure we have like Obama driving a classic car one time, like photo ops from the road and the press pool, and some other presidents. I don't think it was Trump. I think we have Obama. We have George Bush, a bunch of pictures of George Bush driving a car back in the day. But that was after he was no longer president. We have some pictures of Biden driving a car. I don't know where they're going, or if they're just fucking around or whatever. But a lot of it wouldn't be in DC. It wouldn't be like when they're going to meet somebody. It wouldn't be while they're doing this or doing that. It would be like at their hometown, like small little things that the press pool eats up, right? The press pool will eat that shit up. Oh my God, he's driving a classic Corvette. Or the president's a real guy. Come check him out. Here you go. Check this out. Like, the president is allowed to drive a car. Now, I know if you Google it, can the president, you're going to get articles that says, no, he's not. And that's typically like an official capacity. Like, he couldn't drive to a meeting. He couldn't drive to meet an ambassador. He couldn't drive to the White House every day if he wanted to. He couldn't drive to the Senate. He couldn't do any of that. But there's people in New York City who don't drive cars all year round. That haven't drove a car in fucking 10 years. It's fucking stupid. Trump could drive a car if he wanted to. He obviously doesn't want to. He likes having a driver. And while he's got the Secret Service, he doesn't have to pay a driver. They'll put somebody in the fucking driver's seat. How fucking dumb. Anyways, because he can't if he's the president. Boom, 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 fire, 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 fire. There you go. Let's talk about this next image. So, chip waffle fam, whatever it is. What do they call him? Shit lip waffles or something? What was he so mad about Austin for? Ship waffle ships. All good. He made a post, okay? And in his post, he had recently announced, I'm actually going to search for him. He had recently announced that he was now banned from Phil's group. He said that he knew it was because their difference in opinion, that he thought it shouldn't be. But he's made posts before several times. Several times he's made posts before saying, I guess if Phil reads this, I'm banned. Why is that? Now, Phil would try to have you say, like, oh, you're spreading disinformation. I can't stand with you because I'm all about the truth. Well, we know that's a lie. Phil spreads disinformation all the time. Phil actually supports people who don't believe the same narrative as him and sell it to their grifters or whatever. Why would it be that Phil or that Chip can't be in his chat? Because Chip recently started questioning if anything was real. He didn't say it wasn't real. He didn't say you've been conned. He just said, is this real? Did we all get screwed? I haven't seen anything. There's people accusing him of saying that he said Phil was a liar. He never said that. That's Phil's hype man. Like, he's hyping up his chat to think this. He says that Chip went against him, like that Chip did this, Chip did that. He can't stand with him anymore. This is all a lie. Like, Chip saw this coming. Chip saw this coming and knew you can't disagree with Phil in any way, shape, or form. Not only can you not disagree and say, oh, that's not right, you can't question. Chip was saying, like, are we sure this is true? I haven't seen any information about Nasara Gassara. Or when we talk about, or when someone talks about, like ascension and stuff, that's not like what I read in the Bible. I didn't think that was something that was, in the Bible. That's kind of weird. Here's a post from Chip. It says, I'm trying to be realistic here and not vindictive, but this is the same message we have heard from Trump for over 2 years at every rally. If he is still a president under COG and devolution, then this message makes no sense. If he and the military have done nothing for 2 years, how can you expect him to do anything in 2 more years? Have the elections been corrected? Has the shot been stopped? There are far more serious problems than the ones he points out. If we are to wait another 2 years for anything to be done, then that proves everything we have been told is a lie. Trump and the military have no power. Something is very off. Something else must be in the works. That, I'm afraid, is much more sinister. And he's talking about this video. Listen to this. It's a 2-minute video.
The real State of the Union. Over the past 2 years under Biden, millions and millions of illegal aliens from 160 different countries have stormed across our southern border. Drug cartels are now raking in billions of dollars from smuggling poison to kill our people and to kill our children. Savage killers, rapists, and violent criminals are being released from jail to continue their crime wave, and under Biden, the murder rate has reached the highest in the history of our country. Biden and the radical Democrats have wasted trillions of dollars and caused the worst inflation in half a century. Real wages are down 21 months in a row. Gas prices have soared and are now going up much higher than even before. And the typical American family is paying $2,200 in increased energy and food costs each year. Joe Biden's weaponized Justice Department, and I'm a victim of it, is persecuting his political opponents. His administration is waging war on free speech. They're trying to indoctrinate and mutilate our children. He's leading us to the brink of World War III, and on top of all of that, he's the most corrupt president in American history, and it's not even close. But the good news...
Not even close.
Every single crisis, calamity, and disaster that Joe Biden has created. I am running for president to end the destruction of our country and to complete the unfinished business of...
Wait a second. You're running for what? Now, Derek Johnson will yell at you and call you stupid because you didn't see all the secret intel that was hidden in here. But the man just said, I am running for president.
To indoctrinate and mutilate our children. He's leading us to the brink of World War III. And on top of all of that, he's the most corrupt president in American history, and it's not even close. But the good news is we are going to reverse every single crisis, calamity.
Donald Trump's mouth when he talks is so small. Like, compared to the rest of it, like when he's like talking and like, it's like this, it looks like the size of like a nickel. Hold on, let me show you what I'm talking about. Like, I know everybody likes Trump. You don't have to tell me, blah, blah, blah. We can still make fun of people. Look how tiny his mouth is when he gets excited. Watch this.
He's the most corrupt.
Look how little it gets.
In history, and it's not even close. But the good.
Look right there. Look how small that is. That's the tiniest little mouth for that size head. That is the tiniest for his head size. Like when he gets on some strings, that is a tiny little mouth. I guess maybe it's his accent or the way he pronounces. Like, I don't know. But, I mean, you could get mad if you want to. But that you have to admit that that's like, when he says certain words, his mouth is like this big.
Calamity and disaster that Joe Biden has created. I am running for president.
Okay.
To end the destruction of
For president.
and to complete the unfinished business of making America great.
Is it a New York thing? It's got to be something to do with his accent or whatever, because other words he says, and his mouth looks huge. You know what I mean? Like it's a bigger than average probably mouth.
Again. We will make our country better than ever before, and we will always put America first.
So if Chip asked if Trump's putting out this message, then how can he secretly be in charge of everything? How can he secretly be president? Oh, did Facebook not connect? What's up with Facebook? Your post goes against community standards on nudity or sexual activity. What? What? Nudity showing genitals, sexual activity, female nipples, or sexually explicit language. What post goes against Facebook standards for nudity? What post did they remove? It wasn't this video. That's part 4. Phil Godlewski. Phil goes to court. Part 3. Was it part of the video game maybe? No, I only posted one part on there. Come join us. What? What the hell is wrong? Your post goes against community standards. Let's see the post. About your post. No one else can see the post. I can't fucking see the post. Today at 9:33 p.m. It's my fucking post I made about the show. Nudity.
Because I'm a dick.
Thank you very much for the donation. Sima Sapien bought you a 6-pack. Do you think Zuckbit mistook his lips for a butthole? Maybe. I don't know. Sexually explicit language, nudity. We sent an update once we reviewed your post again. I don't even know what they removed, to be honest. I don't even see anything that they've removed. I haven't posted any pictures. I haven't done anything. That's very strange. Anyways, Phil was questioning if Trump is president, then how can he be saying these types of things? How can he be... I mean, it's obviously not nudity. I'm sure I'll get it removed, but strange either way. Anyways, if Trump's president, why would he be saying these types of things? And he wouldn't. Now, this all goes back to Chip has made several posts, but one of his biggest ones was the 12-part post, and I'm going to read some excerpts about it. It says, Scott Rogers is not nude. The real plan, a double meaning, COVID and God's not MAGA, Chip Chat, Proverbs 1:7. So he immediately goes into Bible verses, Amos, blah, 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 profane sinners. He shares a bunch of Bible verses right off the bat. The foundations be destroyed. What can righteous do? The Lord is blah, blah, blah. The battle lines were drawn between Satan and Jesus. What is fascinating is that Satan was in the garden before sin. Why? How? The fall was predetermined by God. Had there not been the fall of man, we would never have known Christ as a Savior, nor would know his attributes or fully understand the love and grace, blah, blah, blah. The world has reached such a state of violence and evil that God destroyed it with the flood, all that stuff. Distance, political events that bring no comfort to the saints. He who has ears to hear and eyes to see, let him read with understanding. No games here. The real war at hand is not the white hats MAGA against the cabal. It's not Trump against the bad guys. You have been lied. You have been led to believe that it is the real war, but the real war is between Christianity and liberalism involving satanic deceptions, which is altogether a different religion from Christianity. It is pervasive now. Just look at the Grammys last week, the present time of conflict, blah, blah. Anyways, the gist of this is he starts to question Phil. He even says at some points, like, I don't want to question Phil. I hope this doesn't cause an issue, but I think there's plenty of rooms for dissenting opinion. I think that people can decide on their own. I just want to lay this out there. I haven't seen any proof that Phil is what he says or that what he says is going to come true comes true. All very strange for sure. And if that's the case, then something's going on, right? So he shares basically that something is going on, something is happening, and they may have been fooled. He hopes not. He hopes Phil is legit. He hopes that Phil shows more evidence. He literally said, I hope Phil shows more evidence that he is correct, that what he does have going on is happening, and that not only is it happening, but that it would continue to prove him wrong, prove Chip wrong, that Phil was right. Cool. It was basically just a dissenting opinion, but you're not allowed to dissent. You're not allowed to disagree. You can only question the things Phil has sent you to question, told you to question, and commanded you to question. If you question anything else, you're fucking out of here. It's the video from today. So the post is on there from 33 minutes ago where I said, I haven't even been live that long. It's the post from today. And then 34 minutes ago, they stopped my live. Oh, no, it's not. It's there. I thought they took the video down. So 34 minutes ago, the live stream started. Then there was a post earlier today about playing video games. Then it says, live now, come join us. Then yesterday's video, Phil goes to court and has dramatic reaction. CBC Truth, that was yesterday's video. But part 3, Baldur's Gate. Yeah, they all seem to be there. I don't know what they're talking about. Either way, we'll see what's going on. I'll just dispute it. But so you're not allowed to question Phil. You're just not. It's not allowed to question Phil. So Chip makes a post about being banned from Phil's chat. Let's see. I don't remember if he said banned or blocked. So let me check. Not blocked. Not banned. Did he say kicked? I forget what he said. It was in my, let me go look through my pages. Anyways, he makes a post saying that he can no longer find or look up Phil's pages, which basically means he's blocked, and that all this went down, and he figured it would happen like this. He wishes it did not happen like that, but it did, and because it did, he's like, I guess we can't dissent. I guess this, I guess the other, I guess whatever, right? But basically he said, oh, I think I found it on the Exposed group. That's where it was, or the Debunking Crew. So basically what he says is that, oh my God, stop it, is that he's been banned from Phil's group, and he was very disappointed about being banned from Phil's group, which is sad. Chip's an older guy. Chip was all in. Chip supported Phil all the way. Chip was doing Phil's bidding, and I think he honestly believed him and honestly believed that Phil had a calling. Phil was doing this. He was helping out. That all this was coming together, that all of it would be good, and that Phil would save everybody, and what he was saying was true. And he felt like he was pushing that out to help Phil, and that would have been good to help Phil because Phil was doing the right thing. I feel like he's not going to have a whole lot to do now that he's gone. We also see this post that says, he made this post that says, I have read all the attacks against me. I expected it. As a matter of fact, I was completely, here it is. I was completely deleted from Phil's chat and his announcement channel Sunday. I can't even pull them up. I have posted very little there recently. I have never attacked Phil personally. I defended him for over 3 years. I even spoke with his dad once. He spoke with Phil's dad while Phil's dad was headed to jail to pick him up. So Phil was getting released that day. He spoke to him and said he was worried about Phil. He just wanted to know that he was all right. Why would he do that? I have an idea. I agree. I do have a different viewpoint now, but see no reason to be banned. Now, Phil claims that anybody can have any view they want. Anybody can do anything they want. Anybody can believe anything they want. They're just not allowed to, what he calls, slander him by talking about his charges from 2010. But anybody can believe different. That's the way America was founded. It should be open debate, and people should figure it out. And the evidence was, you don't have to ban people who are polite, cordial, respectful, and question your narrative. Because if what you're saying is the truth, it will stand. It will have evidence. It will stand the test of time, and it'll uphold the burden of proof. You only have to ban people who are, Chip was super nice to Phil. Always respectful, always thanking him, always saying, good things about him, but just began to question the narrative. Why would he do that? I have an idea. I agree. I do have a different viewpoint now, but see no reason to be banned. I will not engage in attacks against him. That's just not me. I just don't see any results or proof of anything. He seems to be able to get upset with the plan and its delays, but when I do, people go berserk. That's okay. I will leave it at that. No, I won't be doing any more reviews of his lives. No, I won't be doing any more reviews of his lives, which was very interesting. Very interesting that he is no longer trying to review his lives and tie them to Bible study. That won't help. That won't help Phil none for sure. That won't help Phil a little, not even a little bit. I don't know. Man, that shit's wild, dude. That Phil would get rid of that. He needed to just talk to that guy and fake some proof or something. That was a guy that was legit in Phil's corner. That Phil needed that guy. Phil, that was probably Phil's last guy that would go all in. That would stand there. Yeah, I don't know. Oh my God. Oh, I got you. It's Austin. Hold on. I want to run, without making any accusation, I want to run a poll in a minute. But yeah, Phil still needed Chip more than Chip needed Phil. Chip was beginning to wake up. Chip was beginning to question. Chip is the only one that I see out of that group over there that follows the grifters that's standing for religion. Okay? That's standing for religion. That's saying, hey, this isn't the Christianity I was raised on. This is not the Christianity from the Bible. This is not people who worship Jesus. You can call it Christianity if you want to. This isn't of God. This isn't of Jesus. This isn't blah, blah, blah. That goes against the Bible, which I found refreshing. Most people are like, Phil's got a new religion. Let's join it. Phil's got a brand new religion. Here we go. Which was just fucking wild to me. But we're going to talk about Phil. Let's see. Let's get Phil's response up. First of all, let me get I got to get an image of Phil up so you guys know who we're talking about. Hold on. You guys remember Phil, right? All right, so Phil, this is Phil's Playhouse. So let me see. Chip did a lot for Phil, especially time. Here's what I worry about. I worry about Chip realizing that he did all of this work trying to tie Phil to God and the Bible and whatever. And now he's got to know he's been misled. And he put in all that time and effort convincing people that Phil was godly, that Phil was a good Christian, that Phil did go with the Bible, that Phil did everything. So it's just wild to me now that I'm afraid that Chip will realize that and then realize how bad he fucked up. And then, you know, it's going to weigh heavy on somebody. So then we get this screenshot. This is from Chip, okay? This is a message from Chip, and Phil responds. And Phil shared this on his Telegram channel. Phil shared this on his Telegram channel for the whole world to see. I think his Telegram channel is, what is it? Is it Phil's Playhouse? Phil's Playhouse of Fun, something like that. You guys know his Telegram channel. You guys know what I'm talking about. And in Phil's Playhouse, God damn it, how many times is Telegram going to update, dude? And in Phil's Playhouse, he shared this post. Sorry, Telegram needs to update, and now it doesn't want to fucking show me the chats. There it is. He shares this post. Now, I'm going to read the message first, and then I'll tell you what he says about it. By the way, one announcement that's a little bit more important than this. If you ever in your entire life decide to send the entire party's potions to Bullshifter, healing potions, on the premise that he's going to take one and send them back, he will forget. He will get your entire party killed. Just in case anybody was wondering, oh, I forgot. I got excited because there's a button to push, and I completely forgot. Okay, thanks. Back to this. So this is a screenshot that Phil took of him and Chip Waffle Chat. Sorry, I feel like Kim Kuckich up here. That's an inside joke from the game stream in case you missed it. Oh, Bullshifter took a cussing today. All right, here we go. It shows an explosion, and it says, I don't know what was said before this. Maybe Phil asked him if he was, is this still your channel or something? Because he says, I still have this channel. Phil, I would like to thank, after defending and supporting you for 3 years, both financially and morally. I take extreme issue with people saying, I supported you financially and you don't agree with me. Like, again, we talked about it last night. Once a donation is sent. You're not paying my wages. You're not buying my show. You're not buying my time. You're not buying friendship. None of that accounts. But what Chip's saying here, I don't have as big of an issue with, because he's just saying I supported you financially and morally, and all I want is the ability to disagree. He's not saying you can't cover this, you can't do that, you can't do this, or I'm above the rules. Chip's just asking to play by the rules. And I think he's given some background context. This isn't as bad as saying something like, you know, I donated this much, and if I wouldn't have donated that, who knows what would have happened. And look, they just don't talk to me now. They hate me now. They hate this. They hate that. That's the difference. I think Phil just wants to play by the rules. Or I'm sorry, Chip just wants to play by the rules. I would think after defending and supporting you for 3 years, both financially and morally, and I even wrote you a letter before you went to court years ago. And then even though I see things quite differently now, you would have contacted me to talk privately to tell me something about yourself that would shed light on all of this. I don't know if your dad ever told you. We spoke on his way to pick you up from jail. I was concerned about you. You know that whatever you would tell me would be kept completely confidential. You know, so Chip was asking for a sign. I don't agree with this part. Chip was asking for some kind of sign to keep playing along, to keep pretending like Phil was godly, to keep pretending like Phil was legit, and he wanted to keep it secretly. If there's going to be some evidence put out, everybody needs to see it. You don't need to be seeing it secretly and then saying, oh, Phil's of God, he's of the Bible. Look, here's this verse where it says, let thy 8th grade daughter belong to thy neighbor. Something like that. You know, I don't agree with that part, but still, here's what he said. whatever you would tell me would be kept completely confidential. You know me well enough to know that is true. No one would ever know we even spoke to each other. I have nothing against you. You are man enough not to fear viewpoints different than yours. That's the point. That's the point he should have went to. Not, hey, I'm surprised you didn't send me like some type of secret screenshot of your badge so I knew you were really NSA Edward Snowden, or you didn't send me, you and Trump on his yacht in a picture, a selfie with duck lips and everything. You are man enough not to fear viewpoints different than yours. Absolutely not. Phil views losing dollar signs, and he knows that Chip can be a huge hit in those dollar signs. So he's got to discredit and distance from Chip before Chip can discredit and distance the people that send him money. I have never attacked you. I accept that you call yourself a Christian. So brothers in Christ are to forgive and love one another. Phil is not a Christian. Phil is not a Christian. Phil is not a Christian. Phil added that to his grift when he saw how well it did with the old ladies. So brothers in Christ are to forgive and love one another. Christians are closer than family that are not saved. So if you've got lost family members, if you're a brother in Christ, I'm a brother in Christ, we are closer than those lost family members. I am writing this in hope of reconciliation. I'm writing this to hope that we can mend this, that we can get together, that we can be friends again, that you'll let me back in, that I can suck your nuts a little bit more, that you'll help me out. Reconciliation. To reconcile. Christians can't be in disharmony with one another. I guess what he's trying to say here is like Christians' ultimate goal should be to further the message of Christ and to spread it to as many people as possible and help by doing works or spreading the word or whatever. So Christians shouldn't disagree. Their ultimate goal should be Christ and living for Christ and spreading the word of Christ. So if it comes down to a decision between two really devout Christians, there's always going to be one that's like, does this further the message of Christ? No. This is about my ego, or this is about my bank account, or this, then they should technically agree. That very rarely happens, but I get what he's saying. I want to know the truth, and I will keep searching for it. Whatever that truth is. I am prepared for it. I want my followers to be prepared for it as well. Take care. I will give you my phone number if that works for you. I hope to hear back, Chip. I hope to hear back, Chip. Now, Chip's not going to hear back. Instead, Phil's going to plaster this on social media to discredit Chip before Chip can take too many of his pay piggies away. I don't think that this was like crazy out of line. There's some stuff that I disagree with. Guys, you can't say that in chat. You can't say shit like pedophile or pedo shit in chat. All that does is get me fucking looked up. You can't do it. You can't say it in chat. Don't do it. The moderators are going to start getting rid of it. The moderators are going to start banning people. Please don't put it in chat. I understand I say it. I understand if I say it that you want to say it. That's not the way it works. It's not the way it works. Be careful. Anyways, that's not for Rumble is okay. It's Twitch and YouTube and Facebook that I'm worried about because they relay to Twitch, and Twitch is probably the strongest one, but YouTube's a close second. Anyways, I don't think the stuff that was said was too crazy or too big of an ask. I think that Phil should have came forward and said this. This is the same way that happened with, what did he call that guy, Deep State James? Because James found out about him. Anybody, it doesn't matter how, if Carrie come out tomorrow and said, you know what? I think there's some fishy stories that Phil's been telling me, and I don't know if they add up. Maybe he doesn't speak Mandarin. Carrie would be gone. You guys called her. She wasn't nothing but a succubus. Maybe even an incubus. Probably, knowing Phil, an incubus. Knowing Phil, an incubus. If you don't know the difference between a succubus and an incubus, you have to look it up. A succubus is a demon or spiritual entity in female form that appears to seduce men. An incubus is a male form that appears to seduce, well, Phil's. Anyways, Phil responds. Here we go. Here we go. Here's the tea, boys. Phil responds, takes a screenshot of it. Yes, Phil's happy playtime hour. Hey, Chip. What he's going to say is really fucked up here, but listen. I feel like you have made up your mind in regards to what you believe is the truth. Now, not once has Chip said he's made up his mind. Chip tries to tell you, out of everything that's said by multiple people, he does all of Phil's videos, but people send him videos of Trump or Mike Pence or Derek Johnson or whatever, and he tried to do those as well. Okay? But he did all of Phil's videos. And not once, not a single fucking time, has Chip said he's made up his mind. He's always said he's trying to figure out the truth. This is what he believes. And then he says, this coincides with what I believe in the Bible, and this goes against what I believe in the Bible, or this has nothing to do with what I believe in the Bible. This isn't covered in the Bible. This isn't relevant to the Bible. Okay? He's never made up his mind, but Phil again says, oh, you've made up your mind. There's no sense in keeping people around that have made up their mind. Anyways. And you have started to spread that theory to most of your following. You have started to spread this theory. You made up your mind, and now you're spreading it to most of your following. Then he follows up with this, which, by the way, is my following. Is Chip's following Phil's following? Does Phil have rights over that following? I don't think so. I've seen people in Chip's chat that don't watch Phil anymore. I've seen people in Chip's chat that share my videos. I've seen people in Chip's chat just waiting for something to come true. I've seen people in Chip's chat that hates him. Do they overlap quite a bit? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's a difference between, like, I do a live stream, and when I'm done, I send all of my live stream over to Bull Schiffer and Bull Schiffer, and out of all my viewers, 600 or whatever, 60 go. And same moderators. I'm in the chat. I'm hanging out. I'm chilling there. All my people are like, hey, Will, because they're just there because I'm there. That's one thing. It's a whole nother thing for Chip to start this channel and then have this huge group of people. Some of them agree with Phil. Some of them don't agree with Phil. A lot of overlap. I'll agree. But that's not how Chip got his following. That's not, Chip didn't hop in and say, hey, you advertise me so I can have some followers and then I'll tell them everything you want to say. I think that claim goes a little far for Phil to say. Maybe. You have started to spread that theory to most of your following, which, by the way, is my following. He puts my in capital letters. Oh, hey, Truth or Roast. We were just talking about you the other day for something. Yesterday, I think you weren't here, or maybe I just didn't see you. My following. You didn't come to me and ask for clarification on anything. And I do think that's true. He didn't go to Phil and ask for clarification on anything. But Phil certainly knows what Chip posts because it gets shared. It gets sent to him. People tag him. Phil certainly knows what Chip posts. And over the last few weeks, all Chip's been asking for is a maybe, by the grace of God, Phil will come out and prove this. I know you guys are doubting. I'm doubting. I don't know if it's true. I want to believe it so much. I pray that I'm wrong. But I would just like to see a little bit of proof. Now, why does Chip have to beg for proof? Because there is none. You may hate Chip. You may think he's up Phil's ass or under Phil's nutsack or this, that, the other. But at least he's willing to admit there is no proof of Nasara Gassara. There is no proof that Trump's secretly in charge. There is no proof that Phil worked all these places he claims to work. There is no proof that Phil is telling them other than the act of Phil telling them. At least he stayed true to that. You didn't come to me and ask for clarification of anything. You just simply took it upon yourself to start spreading purposeful disinformation. What does Phil call all of his predictions that are wrong? What does Phil call every time he makes a prediction that doesn't come to pass? What does Phil call every time he gets called out on something that he forgot about? What does Phil call when he appears with the wrong people on stream and doesn't realize who they are, or talks about people that he later realizes are pedo guys or the woman beaters or whatever? Oh, it's disinformation, guys. It's disinformation. Sometimes I'm given disinformation because people are getting the cabal is getting too close. So who are you to say that you are allowed to give out disinformation? But even if you believed what Chip was sharing was disinformation, he can't. You just simply took it upon yourself to start spreading purposeful disinformation, which completely contradicted my own reporting. I have never, ever, 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 ever seen Chip come out and say, Phil reported this, but the truth is actually the exact opposite. Here's what's true. I have seen Chip call Phil out and say, hey, this isn't in the Bible. That's not what the Bible says. Hey, when we're talking about, being on earth and this place of peace and this real peace with the world peace and the Sargassar, that stuff's not of the Bible. Stuff's not of the I know Phil said this, but that's not of the Bible. But Phil claims that he come for his throat, spreading purposeful disinformation, and completely contradicted his own reporting. Followed by, it's Chip Chat Fam 17 or something like that. Chip Lit Fam 17. That's right. You have caused dozens. This is where Phil tells him. Phil's going to blame him for the hundreds of thousands of people who just seem to inexplicably have left his Telegram channel for no reason given. Hundreds of thousands. Seems like that bot lease ran out or whatever. You have caused dozens, if not hundreds or thousands of people to break away from me. in lieu of inaccurate theories to which you are presenting in a public manner. You have caused dozens, if not hundreds or thousands of people to break away from me in lieu of inaccurate theories to which you are presenting in a public manner. Let's see. If Chip says, oh, you guys know Nasara Gasara, that's not of the Bible, okay? The world peace part, that's not of the Bible. You can read this passage, and it talks about peace, world peace, and trials and tribulations, all that, right? Is that technically going against Phil, teaching the exact opposite and causing thousands of people to leave? In lieu of inaccurate theories to which you are presenting in a public manner. By the way, Phil can't spell in lieu of. When you're using the phrase in lieu of or in lieu, it is L-I-E-U. L-I-E-U, in lieu. In lieu of. In lieu of. L-I-E-U. Phil decided to spell it as L-U-I. Kind of like a D-U-I, but just a L-U-I. He got a lactating under the influence. Oh, lactating under the influence. L-U-I is a word. It's a word. It means, let's look it up, make sure I don't get it right. L-U-I is a word. It means to like retreat, right? It means to recede, to move backwards, to retreat, to fall, look, or think back. But N-L-U-I-E, in lieu of means, I want to read the definition if I can find it. As lieu or lieu, in lieu, different, the misspellings of it, in lieu of, definition. Instead of. In lieu of means just instead of. That works sense. The company is allowing workers to receive cash in lieu of vacation cash. Instead of. Instead of. L-U-I is also a word. I think it's pronounced lieu as well, and it means to retreat.
Pronouncenames.com.
Oh, no, that's names. Louis. That's a Malaysian name. That's not what I wanted. I've seen the word L-U-I before, but it wasn't used in the same place as in lieu of. It was used for like to retreat or to back up. I think the way I saw it used was to think back on like fond memories. That's this is the definition I wanted to say before. But Phil's got it. Whatever. Anything that gets through spell check. So basically, he's saying, you have caused dozens, if not hundreds of thousands of people to break away from me instead of inaccurate theories to which you are presenting in a public manner. Does that make sense? Chez Louis is a French restaurant. Did I say it right, Snagglepuss? I don't know.
I've never heard of that.
Listen to this. When we use instead of, you tell me if this makes sense. You have caused dozens, if not hundreds, or thousands of people to break away from me instead of inaccurate theories to which you are presenting in a public manner. Phil just wanted to sound important because this does... Oh, a Lou? Yeah, what about Tulip? Phil just wanted people to think he was smart. That's the reason he used that. In lieu of means instead of. That does not make sense in this sentence. Listen again. It's pronounced lieu. I use that on my timesheet. So, okay. Thank you. Oh, yeah. When adding any additional thanks to my pay. Okay, great. This sentence does not make sense. He only used that. He can't spell it, and he doesn't know how to use it right. So here we are. You have caused dozens, if not hundreds of thousands of people to break away from me instead of, he meant by way of. He did. Absolutely, he meant by way of. Instead of inaccurate theories. So they broke away of me instead of inaccurate theories. That doesn't make any fucking sense, Mensa member. That doesn't make any fucking sense. This doesn't make any fucking sense. He meant by way of. You have, or let's say he could have put, you have submitted your inaccurate theories in lieu of what you used to do covering my videos. Yes, I do appreciate all your kind words in the past. However, your recent actions cause me the need. Your recent actions cause me the need to separate from you. What? Your recent actions cause me the need to separate from you. I don't know if you've been approached from the other side. He's a black hat. He's been infiltrated. He's a black cat. So they're Chip's faults they left. Once again, the grifter not taking any responsibility for his own. Feels incapable of doing anything wrong. Even when he admits that he's done something wrong or made a mistake, which he will now that I said that. He will, now that I've said that, say that I got this wrong or blah, blah, blah. He's only doing that to make you believe that he can admit something wrong. He doesn't really believe it. He still thinks he's right. I guarantee you every fight he has with Carrie when he cries because he tells her he loves her and then cries, profusely while laying upon his victim in the bedroom, he only admits he's wrong, and he in his head, he still knows he's 1,000% right. He's only saying it because he knows that's what you want to hear. Feels incapable of being wrong. Feels incapable of making a mistake. Phil will never admit how many bots he bought. Never. He's going to start calling him. If Chip continues to make videos, I guarantee you he'll call him Cabal Chip or Deep State Chip. Something, I swear. I guarantee you he'll. Yes, I do appreciate your kind words in the past. However, your recent actions cause me the need to separate from you. That's a weird way to fucking phrase that. Cause me the need to separate from you. I don't know if you've been approached by the other side, but I cannot take that risk. Why? Chip does not call you out. Chip does not say anything negative. All you said you had to do to be in your chat, you can disagree with him. You told me I could be in your chat and I could disagree with you and I could post my viewpoints as long as I was respectful and nice, right? We know that's a fucking lie. I cannot take the chance of you being in my chat channel anymore because you were super respectful and people might believe you instead of me. I'm here to help people get through this very difficult time. Phil is here to capitalize on the idea that he can help people get through this difficult time. As difficult as you want to make it. As difficult as you want to make it. Short of inflation, which I think most people would probably blame on Biden, like gas prices went up. Has Biden or his administration come into your home? Have they kicked you out of your bed? Have they told you can't fuck the person you wanted to fuck that night? Have they fucking come and slapped the goddamn food out of your hand that you wanted to eat? Short of inflation, this shit hasn't really affected a whole lot of people, right? Like, I understand, but we've had bad presidents before. And you know what doesn't happen? The world doesn't end. When we have bad presidents, the world doesn't end. When Trump was president and the left hated him, the world didn't end. We used to make fun of people. We used to make fun of the left because they thought Trump being president would be the end of the world. We were going to...
Listen, I'll be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.
Oh, it's Lecture Fan. What's up, man? Lecture Fan, longtime friend of the stream. Check out Lecture Fan on, I don't have my shout out set up, but check out Lecture Fan on, he just commented on Twitch. He does a lot of political stuff. He does gaming 1 or 2 days a week, like on the weekend. He does a lot of political stuff. He's a lawyer, so he could probably tell you a lot more about some of the stuff we're talking about than I could. Thank you very much, Lecture Fan. I appreciate it. He's a good dude. Thank you. Like, it sucks, but it's time to get your eyes on the prize. And what is the prize? What is the prize? Putting people in Congress. Getting ready for the next election. Thank you, Lecture. Have a good night, man. Getting ready for the election. Reaching out to your representatives and saying, hey, I don't want this to happen. We need to vote against this. We need to make sure this doesn't happen. I'm not willing to accept this. And if you're not willing to represent me, then we have an issue. But pretending it's all fake, it's all a movie, none of it exists, and it'll all roll back to 2016 as soon as the big reveal happens is silly. That doesn't do anything for any of us. This guy who claims to be former CIA, former NSA, and Edward Snowden, all in one. It doesn't know any secret. He doesn't know any timeline that everything's gonna be made better. Scotty with the follow. Thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. This guy doesn't know anything. He can't keep himself out of trouble, much less everybody else. I forgot to turn on my thing from sound alerts. Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. He doesn't know anything about it, and he damn sure isn't. He's just creating this background to give him some credibility. He's a joke. So he goes on to say, I'm trying to help people through this difficult time. The only person that he's helped through this difficult time is Phil. He went from in jail, less than $200 in the bank, basically broke is what he said. He was broke, to buying multiple $1 million pieces of property, selling a pyramid scheme or a multi-level marketing scheme, silver, and trinkets and advertisers on Telegram. I can't believe people are still following him. Then he says, you are, of course, that's right. You are, of course, entitled to your own opinions. You're also entitled to your own channels, social media, and broadcasting capabilities. But that doesn't mean I have to endorse them or accept them. The things you've said recently are provable false. Provable false just rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Imagine if someone, like, again, they feed them these crazy QAnon theories. They feed them a little bit at a time. But if you took someone that had never heard any of it, imagine trying to shove the whole fucking thing down their throat, right? So I have this guy who was convicted of, or who pled guilty when he was charged of being sexually active with a 15-year-old girl when he was 25 years old and a baseball coach, and she was a freshman in high school in 2010. But if you listen to him, he also worked for the CIA in 2006 and the NSA during this time that he was also charged for being active with a 15-year-old after her boyfriend killed herself, and then he consoled her with his penis, allegedly. Then he became Edward Snowden, but then they got an actor to play Edward Snowden. Well, let me back up. He used to work on Project Looking Glass, which is a project that he worked on with the CIA that you could see into the future and in the past. But then all the stuff happened in 2010 while he was Edward Snowden. Then in 2013, he came out of Edward Snowden and exposed the whole world. But he was best friends with Ezra Cohen Watnick, who he met in the CIA back in 2006. And Ezra Cohen Watnick hired an actor to play Edward Snowden, and that's the Edward Snowden you think is the real Edward Snowden. And he lives in Russia because they let this guy go back to his house in Philadelphia and gave him a brand new clean background name, Social Security, but they couldn't get rid of the stuff that happened in 2010. They just couldn't make that go away. So then he bites his tongue for several years, all the way up till Trump comes out. Then he pops up for some reason in 2020 saying Biden will never be inaugurated, and he could prove it, that he has evidence that he knows that Trump it will be inaugurated, not Biden, even though all the media outlets are claiming that, you know, it's over. There's going to be a change of power. There's going to be inauguration. But that wasn't real because that happened on the green screen inside the Supreme Court because it was snowing, but then it wasn't snowing, and everybody knows that's fake, and Joe Biden wore two different pairs of shoes. So if you're keeping up with me now, that's when he come forward. Now, that's the first time anybody ever saw him on the internet, but he claims that he's actually Q, and he's posted for Q. He's what they call the top anon, and even though he didn't show up till 2020, he was actually always around since 2016. We just didn't know it. And while he was posting his Q, he didn't know Q's trip code. When asked about it, he didn't even know what a trip code was, but he said he got Ron Watkins to reset it for him so he could post his Q on 4chan and 8chan and 8kun. So Ron Watkins would reset it for him so he could do it. And since then, he's been running secret private messages or secret private missions for Donald Trump and this team of hackers he works at, because General Flynn and Dan Scavino work for this guy. They both work for him because he's the top anon and they're just the 1 through 5 anons. And he runs these secret hacking missions. But he also can't figure out his own live stream or his own computer and can't explain how to access the dark web. And when confronted about that, he yells, "I have a tech friend who set up my computer that only goes to the dark web because I had a secret meeting there with Donald Trump." The same meeting I was bragging about going to with Brad Barton. And Brad Barton said it was a meeting with like people to pray for Trump. But mine was a secret meeting where they took over my computer and my webcam and shut it all down. And then I heard Trump telling me the game plan that I was supposed to deliver to you. And since then, Ezra Cohen Watnick has been feeding me little bits of information to spread to you about the deep state and cabal. Now, I've always been wrong about everything I've predicted, but that was all misinformation, or it just hasn't happened yet. So, boom. There's no way you could sell it to them all at once. The only way to get somebody into this is by bits and pieces of the bullshit. Bits and pieces, like, that's the only way to get them in there. You cannot feed them the whole thing. So when we're on the outside looking in at it, and we're like, how the hell do people believe this? We're looking at a field full of cows, okay? Fucking 800 pounds apiece or more, a bunch of beef standing on hooves saying, how can we eat this? Can our little town eat all these cows in one winter? But when you're sitting down eating it, it's just a burger or it's just a steak. It's a day by day by day by day by day thing where they're getting a little more and a little more and a little more and a little more and a little more. But when you're looking at it as a field full of cows, you're thinking, how can we even eat all these? There's 200 cows here. How are we going to eat all these? It's got to be a piece at a time. You are, of course, entitled to your own opinions. You are also entitled to your own channels, social media, and broadcasting capabilities, but that doesn't mean I have to endorse them or accept them. He's not asking you to endorse them or accept them. He asked you why he was banned for having a differing opinion, which you said was allowed, was encouraged, having a different opinion and questioning everything and doing your own research. All the grifters say do your own research until you do, and it doesn't match their research. The things you've said recently are provably false. And therefore, I cannot stand next to you while you say them. Chip is not asking you to stand next to him while he says them. He's just asking to have the place to say them that you always said he could. I hope you understand. I wish you the best of luck in the future. Take care, man. So that was Phil Godlewski addressing his biggest fan and the guy that convinced a lot of people that Phil was a godly man, Chip Littler. Now, when he posts this, he puts some text underneath the post, and here's what it says. By the way, I know if you just come over here with Lecture Fan, you're probably like, who the hell's he talking about? We'll get to it. It's pretty bad, but we'll get to it. Hey, y'all. Everyone has been asking about my recent split from Chip and his channel/beliefs. This was the conversation we had over the last couple of days. I admire Chip and will always consider him an important friend throughout this hostile time. But I can no longer endorse Chip nor stand next to him in his beliefs about our movement. I hope this settles the matter and makes things very clear as to what my position is. As always, I encourage everyone to use their own discernment and not use the force of someone else to build your decisions. And not use the force of someone else to build your decisions. This is probably the worst constructed sentence that's ever been written on Telegram. As always, I encourage everyone to use their own discernment, comma, and not use the force. Do you mean like Star Wars and Luke and shit? Like, don't use the force? Do not use the force of someone else to build your decisions. Whoever says, hey, look, the decision is yours to build. People don't build this. What are you talking about, dude? Yeah, they broke up, BT. They broke up. Phil wants you to use your own discernment. Phil wants you to do your own research. Phil has said, I want my people to question me. They should be. If they're good followers, if they're good anons, then they'll question everything. But as soon as you question him, he bans some of his most loyal supporters. Obviously, he won't let me there, even though he said I could be part of his group. He wouldn't let me there because I'm his biggest detractor. But these are his biggest supporters. He then shares a video about Phil's silver. Let's check that out. It's kind of long. We might skip through it, but it's a silver video.
So I haven't done one of these in a while.
I'll pull it up to where you guys can see it over here, smaller.
A new shipment, and two different shipments actually, that came together.
Because I'm a dick.
Because I'm a dick. Rising Phoenix bought you 3 6-packs. Beer Man bringing the truth as always. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. If you're new here, we're talking about Phil Godlewski, who has quickly became a leader in the what is the current QAnon stuff. The guy is a grifter, a first-class grifter, telling people he speaks to Trump secretly on a regular basis. He works for Trump regularly on a regular basis, claims he's a hacker, worked for the CIA, NSA. There's no record of any of that. Barely can work his own computer. Has a very troubled background. Yeah, it's still going on. It's not for like... So, like, a lot of people were in queue and got out and thought, oh, well, it's over. Like, you know, it's not going on for most people. It's what happened was, like, a whole new older group of people just found it during COVID and fell in love with it. And it's a huge money-making thing now. Like, this guy went from in jail for bouncing a check with less than $200 in his bank to he bought several $1 million worth of property this year cash. Because he's got a pyramid, multi-level marketing thing he sells. He sells ad space on his Telegram channel at about $5,000 per ad. He's went from nobody to millions of dollars. He's telling people, everybody knows Edward Snowden. He's telling people the Edward Snowden movie's about him, and Edward Snowden's an actor. And that his background, they were able to get him out of the NSA and give him a new background, but they couldn't remove that pesky little charges he had about sleeping with a 15-year-old whose boyfriend had just unalived himself, and he was a 25-year-old baseball coach comforting her. It's very strange. So here's some of the silver he sells.
One at a time. Now,
it's basically like the young, kind of like the American First, like the Groypers and all those people that were like in on QAnon back in 2016, 2017, or I guess 2017, 2018, blah, blah, all the way up basically through the election. And Trump's kind of tries to come back to office up through the inauguration and maybe even a little bit past that. They all left. And that left this giant void for like your grandma and your great aunt to get in there. And man, these people, some of these people are robbing those people bone dry.
I know, personally, I don't believe in this, as you guys all know, but this one's pretty cool. It's a large coin. You can see the difference in relation to a regular sized encasement. This one is the Pillars of the Universe, Pillars of Creation, and Black Hole. I believe that's all bullshit. But
PR_you betcha gifted SC0T_IA subscription. PR_you betcha.
I'm gonna make this bigger.
Tier 1 sub to SC0T_I.
Thank you very much.
11 gift subs in the channel.
Thank you for the gifted sub. I'm going to play this right quick because I'm going to grab me something to drink. I don't have anything over here. I'll be right back. This is his video, but I'll make it big. I know it was too small. We'll skip back ahead to where he's talking about that coin. Let me know what kind of Q drops there are in the coin, apparently. That one's probably got fill on it.
Coin, you can see the difference in relation to a regular sized encasement. This one is the Pillars of the Universe, Pillars of Creation, and Black Hole. I believe that's all bullshit. But nonetheless, it's a pretty cool coin and it's highly collectible. And when I say highly collectible, you can see right here, mintage.
PR_you
Only
betcha gifted chat
333
to the
of these
future a
have ever been
subscription.
made.
PR_you betcha gifted
And
a
that's
tier
the
1
maximum
sub to Shaq
that
to
they will
the
ever make.
future.
So if
They
you
have
own
given
one of these
12 gift
coins, you
subs
have
in the
one
channel.
in 333. It gives you a description there, and then you could flip the coin or the card that 7K sends to you and get all the details. But super awesome coin. See the back of it with the bullshit Big Bang Theory. Obviously it's bullshit, but it's really, really cool nonetheless. Next one here, we got a MS-70. It's perfectly graded King Tut coin.
All right, I'm here.
Here you can see the mintage.
Uh-oh, the mintage. Surely not.
This one's 2 ounces. Last one was 3 ounces. Now these coins, because of certain factors such as, number one, they're great.
Oh, the Egyptians are satanic. Remember, Phil?
This is a perfect grade, MS-70. PF-70 stands for proof. Because of certain factors like the mintage, the purity, the amount of ounces, where it was minted, who issued it, that adds collectible value to any spot value that you may have. So yeah, you could say, oh, it's only a 2 ounce coin. It's only worth, spot value of metal.
PF is proof. SSP would be uncirculated, but not a proof. And then MS is circulated.
Right now is only in the $20-some range. No. Because of this, because of these factors and other factors that I just mentioned, it's worth a heck of a lot more than that.
Only if people want them. Again, older or government minted coinage is very valuable sometimes. More valuable than melt value because you have melt value, and then on top of that, you have the government minted it. You know it's somebody you can trust the purity of it. You know it's a reputable mint. They're desirable because they're older or because there's a limited number of them and they come from the government. Now, 7K, you're going to have to find somebody that likes that company, that likes what they minted. Again, you have to blind pick these, right? You sign up for them. You have to sign up for this. Then it just randomly sends it to you. But you have to have somebody that likes whatever's printed on it, that likes 7K, that trusts 7K, and probably a 7K member because they add to the collection. And 7K's membership gets smaller all the time with people because, again, it's an MLM. If 92% of people never make back their initial investment, they're probably not standing around a whole lot. Twerking for Jesus. Thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate that.
And as time goes on, the value of these tends to increase with certain factors in the market as well. This one's pretty cool. This is the, I believe, second part of their Silver Burst, 7K Silver Burst series.
By the way, it's not a perfect grade. This one right here is higher. It is a PF70 Ultra Cameo.
See, the mintage here is a little bit higher. So the higher the mintage, the more coins that are produced, the lower the numismatic value.
Look, if you what I'm saying is, can some of these coins be valuable? Yes. But think of it this way. Let's say you have regular collector coins minted by the United States government. Let's say you have an old $50 that's worth a lot of money. You know how much that's worth. You can look it up. You can look up the value. You can do that. Now, let's say I get my hands on a furnace to heat the metal, some dyes, and some silver shot. And I mint one silver coin that's got a big-ass fucking picture of my ass cheeks on it. One of one. 3 ounces, PF70 proof. Does that mean because of the mintage and because it's a PF70 and there's only one that's printed that it's going to be worth fucking $5,000? No, it doesn't. 7K sets the values. 7K says, oh, we think this one's this good and it's worth this and we're only going to do this much of them. So you got to find somebody that believes it's valuable. Now, it might be that valuable if I have a bunch of followers and all of my followers want this coin and I'm world renowned and people know me and blah, 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 or if Trump made one or if whatever. There's a difference between the regular numismatic market, numismatic meaning coin collecting market, where people have dedicated their lives to grading coins and valuing coins and finding coins and knowing exact mintages and dates and discrepancies with coins, the things they changed, things that were incorrectly struck on how many coins, and just 7K Metals who says, okay, we only did 200 of these, so they're $480 a piece. That's a big difference. So is it worth higher than melt value? Yeah, probably. Is it worth $350 an ounce? Well over 10 times melt value? I don't think so. But you might find somebody who does, and they might pay you for it. He's already talked about one of his followers paid over $300 for a coin and took it to a pawn shop when they needed to pay their bills because they signed up for this, thinking Phil's promises of silver going to $50,000 an ounce was going to come through. And Phil's promises of putting people below them in the pyramid was going to come true, thought this was going to be their answer to paying their bills instead of just paying them. They had to take it to a pawn shop. They paid over $300 for a single coin, and I think they offered them $50 or $60 for it. And I guarantee that pawn shop's going to ask $100 and probably take the first $80 that walks through the door.
Will be. This one's a 3-ounce coin.
The reason I went with butt cheeks is I figured maybe if I ice them up real good, I won't even need a mold. I can just pour out a little thing of molten silver and then just use the old balloon knot to just blow it a kiss. You know what I'm saying? Just this little peck on the cheek, and then there you go. It'd be molded.
But again, only less than 1,000 of these will ever be minted. Then you get up here to the smaller coins.
I could mint one coin and say this is Will's mintage. Does that suddenly make it worth more? Because, hey, he said mintage. Both are 999 pure silver. Both are 1 ounce. Both are 3 ounce, whatever. And you said less than 1,000 of those would be minted. I only minted one. You said mintage. I mean, it was more valuable, so is mine going to be worth 10 times as much as that or 100 times as much? No.
Series. 7K has long had a Pegasus series. Mintage of these, only 2.
He's going to tell us that Pegasus are real and the lands beyond on his flat earth map, I'm sure.
Again,
that mint mark can be a mushroom stamp. Yeah, there you go. I think that's part of our trademark anyways for the Meat Hammer Militia.
Very small number of overall coins to be had in the entire world, but as
the mintage really means nothing other than what 7K says it means. The mintage is a big deal when you're talking about U.S. coins, especially circulated, because if they minted it in the 30s and there was only 1,000 of them, There's not many left. If 7K mints of thousands, who cares? They come out with 200 new coins a month and mint thousands of them. The mintage how many there are only means something to 7K and 7K collectors. At this point, when you're trying to get this much money for these coins, you are no longer looking for a silver or a coin collector. You are looking for a 7K collector, or you will not get this much. You will not get this much. I told you when he first started this, buying proof coins or deep cameo finishes or proofs or uncirculated or specials or circulated mint condition, whatever. That is a expert's game, okay? Professionals. People that have dedicated their lives or have money to burn, one, because they're going to make a lot of bad decisions, are the ones. Let's look at the regular coin market. Let's say I'm a coin collector. When I first start, I'm just trying to find neat coins or stacking coins or cool coins or coins I can start a conversation with or coins that have a year that means something to me in them. I'm not going out and buying perfect proofs that there's only one of at an auction house somewhere in South America and spending $6 million on it. That's not a starter. The people who are collecting deep cameos, proof sets, specials, MS70s, they're typically experts in this, right? They are the people who are at the upper end of collecting. They're more than just your average guy who likes silver. But 7K is set up for beginners. So their marketing technique or their sales technique is for experts. But no expert will ever sign up for 7K, because if you're an expert, if you're a professional coin collector, you don't need to pay a membership fee. You don't need to have auto coins sent to your house. You're a professional collector. The people who need a membership fee, need to be taught about silver, and want auto shipper on are brand new people to collecting, right? Because maybe they're lazy. Maybe they don't know where to look. Maybe they don't know how to grade coins. Maybe they don't know how to check coins. Maybe they don't know what coins are value. That's their marketing, their system, their strategy of purchasing is set up for beginners, but the coins they want you to buy are for professionals. No professional will ever sign up because they know where to get coins. They know how to grade them. They don't want to pay a membership fee. No beginner should ever sign up because you're buying the wrong kind of coins. If you're a beginner, you should just be buying bullion or going down to your bank and getting, taking $1,000 and turning it all into rolls of quarters at your local bank and trying to find some silver quarters from like 64 prior. It's weird. It's like this weird thing stuck in the middle.
Compared to, something like this, that's only 333. Big difference. This is the first coin of a new series.
So my coin's going to be the most expensive 7K coin ever because there's only going to be one of them.
That 7K is doing. This is Teddy Roosevelt. I think there's 6 or 7 coins in this series. It's a half ounce coin. 5,000 of them total. There'll be 5,000 in each of the phases of young, which is fine. But again, precious metals versus stocks, real estate versus stocks versus precious metals. All.
When he says hedge investments on precious metals, even if he was a financial advisor, they're not talking about these types of precious metals, okay? When the economy drops, when the economy is not doing well, when the economy is not going good, the markup on specialty collectibles dies. It gets so much worse. Let me give you an example. When right now, like retro gaming, old Pokemon cards, stuff that people remember from their youth that are in their 30s, 40s, and 50s is extremely expensive. Or at least, let's say 2 years ago, 5 years ago, it's extremely expensive, all-time high. Nintendo systems and fucking Ataris and Pokemon cards and shit like that, okay? At an all-time high, let's say 5 years ago. In 2007 and 2008, you could buy that shit for pennies on the dollar and make thousands of times your investment. Why? Was it because the same people didn't want it? No, they wanted it. They still remembered it from their youth. They still wanted it. They still liked it. Maybe they were 30 instead of 50. Or maybe they were 40 instead of 50. Or maybe they were 30 instead of 40. But they still wanted it. Why? When the economy does good, when America does good as a whole, and the economy's doing good, there is spare money, right? People have extra. People have more than they need to provide for their basic needs. They have more. What do they do with it? They get collectibles or toys or stuff for them to play with or enjoy or to look at, okay? Now, when the economy goes bad, when the economy's not doing as good, when the job market's not strong, when wages aren't coming in like they should be, when people are getting laid off, they don't have those disposable funds. The bigger majority of them goes to paying rent and food and electricity and heat and internet and phone line and cable or whatever, cell phone. And they want to hold on to their disposable income if they have some because of uncertain times. So, the first thing to go is a collectible value. That markup. It is like a sentimental markup, right? I just like this because I like Pharaohs, or I just like this because someone else had it. I just like this because I remember it from when I was in high school. I just like this because it used to be a status symbol. I just like this because I remember, going to my buddy's house in 3rd grade and we used to do this. I just like this. I just like this. I just like a sentimental reason, a collector's reason. If you were going to hedge your retirements on silver or gold or precious metals, you wouldn't want collector's coins, especially from some random fucking Joe Blow company. You would want bullion. That's what's stable. That's why everybody says, oh, silver's pretty stable, gold's pretty... Bullion. The cheapest fucking shit you can get, but the price is stable. It's like a blue chip investment, right? It's pretty stable. I'm not a financial advisor. It's pretty stable pricing. Because if something happens, and let's say the economy does really bad, takes a really bad downturn, and that's when you would have lost your 401k or your IRA or taken a big hit on it, the collectible value, the bottom's going to fall out of it, especially if you're paying $3 or $4 or $500 an ounce for silver. But the people who took all their money and put it into silver when it's $25 an ounce, it might be $28 an ounce. It might be $30. It might be $24 an ounce, but at least you didn't lose your ass. And the people who are buying these coins, if the economy does take a shit in the way that would cause them to lose their retirement funds, so will this upcharge on collectible coins. It'll come crashing down. They're going to lose money on it as well. Bullion, you at least have a chance to stake your claim and keep it. If you put $1 million in, if the economy goes to shit, you might get 800,000 back, or you might get 1.2 million. If you put $1 million in collectibles and the economy goes to shit, you'll be lucky to get 300,000 back out of it. You'll be lucky to get 300,000 back out of it. This is the dumbest shit ever. Really, Will, get a life. Enough. Excuse me, Debbie? I think you stumbled into the wrong chat. What time do you have to be back at the home? Do they have lights out or something? Did your walker get hung up outside again and nobody come and look for you? It'll be okay.
All those things.
They'll send somebody.
To diversify your holdings. I don't know if I didn't show any of the backs of these. Is by investing in precious metals. As you guys know, anything that you put your money into.
Why don't you go ask Phil why he admitted to having a relationship with his victim and now just claims it was an adult relationship, which he never told anybody. He claims he's never, ever, ever had sex with the victim, or why he claimed he had no text messages between him and the victim. And then he admitted that they had 1,500 text messages, including text messages talking about the case. And if they got their story straight, that they would both have a great financial windfall. Why don't you go ask Phil about that? You are a joke. Yeah, I'm the joke. You got me, Debbie. Have your great granddaughter send me an email. I don't know if you could work Gmail.
In terms of any sort of investment or, decision where you want to put your money is going to have some sort of risk associated with it. That's true across the board. But let's see that.
Jesus, these things are crazy.
It's just so cool.
They're so overpriced for what they are. So overpriced for what they are.
The second or third.
It's next level, dude.
It's really awesome. So I'll put the link below for those of you that are not yet.
Debbie, you used the wrong form of your. I hate to bother you, but you have Y-O-U-R, which means possessive, like your old ass, Debbie. And then you have U-R, which has an apostrophe R-E in it, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E, and it means you are. Your is possessive.
Get 7K members if you want to sign up through PSI.
Like your old dried up clam shack. You are would be you are something, a statement, not possessive.
You could do that in the link below. Really, really cool stuff. This is stuff.
Debbie already has her ticket for the field cruise. Ain't that the truth?
This becomes,
Guys taking everybody on a Phil family cruise. Okay.
twice as much or 3 times as much or even 10% more than what you paid for it. You always have the choice to sell, just like you do with any other.
Will, Debbie is out of her league. Debbie's out of her nursing home. Somebody needs to escort her back. This is a silver alert.
So has a platform called Stack and Sell where you could unload these coins very easily. If you see the value shoot up, you can put your coin on Stack and Sell and shoot it. Shoot it off to somebody else, collect the money. Really cool stuff. Link will be below.
There you go. Well, I am a Trump supporter. I don't mind your funny and sometimes true comments about it. He does have a tiny mouth when he says certain words. I also want to say you crack his granny up. Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us, Freebird, over on Rumble. We're on Rumble, YouTube, and Twitch. If you're not seeing all the comments, it's because the Restream bot isn't working right. Really, Will? Yes, really? What? Sometime in the mid-1990s, there was a college football quarterback who wasn't drafted by a single NFL team. At that point, Charlie Ward, Florida State University, was arguably the best quarterback that the NCAA had ever seen. Heisman winner, national championship winner, and many other accolades. He was not drafted because he was 5'11". Some reports say 6'2", but this is rumored to be false and didn't fit the prototype. Phil, prototype is not the word you're looking for. Now, I know you told everybody you went to Harvard and can't find your diploma. And I know you told everybody you were a member of Mensa, but you can't figure out where that certificate went. You had to walk that back too. Prototype is not the same as stereotype. A prototype is a working model. It is one of, it's not the same as anything else. They've just made it to make sure it works, but it's not been mass produced. Stereotype is what most of them look like, right? It's stereotypical. A stereotypical quarterback would be this tall, run this fast, have this many completions, have this many, that many, whatever. All the same. Prototype would be something new and unique just to try out. It's a beta. It's a test piece. I don't think he did not fit the prototype of NFL quarterback in the 90s. Oh, really? Imagine. How many NFL teams could have changed their trajectory by drafting Charlie Ward? All of them. Is Phil going into sports trivia when the Nana grifter money dries up? You know which one of his text messages you should ask him specifically about, Debbie King? You should ask him about when he texted his victim, the 15-year-old, and he admitted these are his texts, and said, "Sorry to hear your pop died," her grandpa, "but didn't we have sex in his bed?" And she said, "I think at that time we had sex in all of northeastern Pennsylvania." When he was 25 and she was 15 and he was a baseball coach and she was a freshman in high school. I would specifically ask him about that text message he admitted was his. Whatever. Phil said, "The internet will be down, but you'll still be able to tune in and watch me give the play-by-play." Someone asked, "Phil, how will we tune in if the internet's down?" And Phil smiled and said, "I've already got that taken care of." Did you guys forget he's Edward fucking Snowden? He's Edward Snowden? He makes the internet what it is.
PR_.
Shit. Listen here.
Gifted 5 subs.
Just gifted 5 subs. Just gifted 5 subs. Thank you very much for the gifted subs. I appreciate it. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for the gifted subs. Thank you. We're. There you go. Not were. We're not were. You almost have it. You almost had it. Question: How will we tune in if the internet is down? My question to you, doesn't the question above assume there is only one version of the internet? Yes. Who do you think controls the other version of the internet? So one day, Phil's just going to tell us, he's just going to come on and say, "See, I told you." You guys probably didn't even notice because you're too dumb. But we are on the white hat internet now. It went down last night while you were asleep and nobody saw it, and it came back up less than 30 seconds later. And we are on the white hat internet. And the way you can tell is by decoding this .onion link. All those CIA summer camps. That's right. Prayers for Jerry the King Lawler. Phil asking for prayers for Jerry Lawler. Did something happen to Jerry Lawler? I didn't even know that this was a thing. I guess I should have watched the news. He's from WWE. Suffers a stroke at his Florida home. Oh, that's sad. He was a pro wrestler. Jerry the King Lawler. He was a commentator. He was a wrestler. He was back in that. I don't know what this next screenshot is, but I'm excited. Debbie, I think she already left. She really will. This kid is a joke. Yeah, okay. Gotcha. Hi, Phil. Sorry it took so long for me to write to you about Christmas. We were able to get the boys 2 twin beds, new mattress, and the bedding for both. We got our 8-year-old a laptop refurbished and multiple toys and some clothes. They had an amazing Christmas thanks to you. So this was Phil giving out his $25,000 he did at Christmas, which I meant, awesome. If you gave the money out, that's great. We had a lot of people claiming that they won but didn't get the money, but I have no way to verify that. It could have just been people claiming it. But if you did help some people out, that's awesome. Awesome. That's great. The problem is $25,000 to someone who's made tens of millions of dollars on advertising their audience alone is literally buying their forgiveness, buying their acceptance, buying their loyalty. It would be like if I came on tonight and said, "Oh, well, over the last year, my stream has made $5,000. So tonight, I'm going to donate a $1 bill to some lucky son of a bitch out there. You just get ready. Guess a number in the chat. You're getting a fresh George Washington right off the press. Like it's you got to think of it in relative terms. I don't want to show anybody's kids. So she sent a picture of her kids. So that's Phil's update all the way from Telegram. He had to kick his boy out. Chip is out of here. The flat earth. Let's go over some of the things he said. So it's $25,000 giveaway. His prototype quarterback, Jerry Lawler. There's two versions of the internet. There is the white hat version and then there's the cabal version. And you will be watching Phil on the white hat version once the cabal version goes down, and he will give you a play-by-play. So that's very interesting. Don't forget about the prototype NFL quarterback who didn't fit the prototype because he was different. Phil's selling a bunch of silver, way overpriced. He had to cut Chip Littler loose. He says RSBN playing Trump interview. The end question is one word. Why hasn't Trump drove a car in 6 years? Because Phil thinks he's still the president. Sure. Silver alert. U.S. Mint secretly producing and hoarding American silver eagle coins by Bixware, another known fucking charlatan. Learn about our sun. There are two suns because the firmament somehow and flat earth. This is also where he suggested that everyone get off Telegram. Greg Phillips, by trying to run the pit, by trying to keep your mind on the goal instead of on conspiracy and popping a bag of popcorn and waiting to be rescued, he's trying to instead get you out to vote, get your eyes open to what's going on in the world, and make sure that you're watching and looking and taking note of things that may be happening right underneath your nose. Hold your local politicians accountable and make sure you do. Now, I don't agree with everything Greg Phillips said. Fine. But what he said is better than, oh, it's all a movie. It's all a movie. And soon somebody's going to rescue us. Probably Trump, wearing nothing but a light coat of baby oil and a smile, riding in on the muzzle brake of an M1 Abrams or whatever the fuck they believe. So many silver alerts tonight. There's a lot of them. Restream bot is not a person. Restream bot is sending the messages from the Twitch chat or the Facebook chat. But you'll get there. Kent Hovind is the guy's name. Kent Hovind. He has been convicted of tax evasion and some domestic. I don't know if he's convicted of domestic violence, but he was charged a couple times. But Phil said, if we're not going to trust criminals, then don't trust me. So they're trying to make out Greg Phillips to be a bad guy because they're calling him, it was a Fed attempt to bring down the Anons into the Matrix, same way Agent Smith did. You notice that you have to relate everything to a movie? Oh, it's cool. When it says, it'll say at RestreamBot, and then the name right after that is who's actually talking to you. So your messages, you're on YouTube. When you send a message to Twitch, it'll say RestreamBot, and then it'll say at Lady Lee Bell. So that's how it works. It's just a relay, but I can't relay and use your account, so I have to use a fake account, the Restream bot. I haven't been here in a while. Okay. That's what you want to do? I saw that. We then go on to see China's buying gold. He thinks he knows why, because the Sara is coming, and we're going back to the gold standard, and everybody's going to be a millionaire through universal basic income from the government. He has absolutely no intention of the State of the Union address. This is from last night. Bravo, Lady Lashes, you were the only one to figure it out. So last night they decoded Phil's controller. So here's his controller that was setting in the video where he showed that he had spent the last 4 weeks building a $700 Lego Titanic when he couldn't go live because he's a Lego builder. He's Lady Liberty Lashes in Lattes says, just so you all know, Phil told us about the spy balloons ahead of time. Cool sunglasses emote. I saw this remote in his Titanic video, and it looked like he was... Now, you can't tell me this lady isn't old as fuck. She doesn't know it's a PlayStation 5 controller. Instead, she says, I saw this remote in his Titanic video, and it looked like he was focusing on it at one point. I did a quick Google image search, and it brought up extreme rate. It's a PlayStation controller. I did gematria search for extreme rate, and looky, spy balloons just so happen to come up. So this is how demented these people are. He did a video where a pink PS5 controller was sitting on the counter. Now, Extreme Rate is not a controller company. They make accessories for a controller. This is just a pink controller. They do make pink covers. This is not like the Extreme Rate cover. It's a completely different cover. They also make the back trigger bars or whatever for a controller, just like Xbox has on like their Scuff gaming controller. So she, for some reason, she found Extreme Rate, which has nothing to do with this controller, and Googled it and then put it in the gematria calculator, which is where you add up all the letters, and it come back with Chinese balloon. Chinese balloon. Boy, oh boy, I'll tell you that. Jeez, what idiots, dude. There it is. See it in the video? See it? See it? Extreme Rate. Extreme Rate. Don't forget the man that helped Jesus carry his cross was a black dude. He wanted to point that out. And yes, you heard me correctly last night. As Phil Godlewski saying this. Phil Godlewski saying this. I believe Scott Peterson is completely innocent of the murder of Lacey Peterson and her unborn child. In fact, I can prove it. How could Phil possibly prove that someone he's never met, someone he's never known, someone he's never had any contact with, who was easily convicted of the murder of Lacey Peterson? Like, there's a difference between having an opinion. Like, lots of people get in true crime. Mariah loves true crime. I watch true crime. I don't talk about it that much because I feel like other people cover that stuff better. The Circle means family. Tell them about the time we went and watched the one about the deaf people. I love you, or whatever he did. But Phil's, he could have an opinion saying, I think it's a conspiracy to set him up. I think it's this. I think it's that. I think it's whatever. He can prove it. He can prove it. Bullshit. He can't do it. He can't do it. If he could prove it, why didn't he go to the guy's fucking appeal? Why didn't he show up at his fucking probation hearing? Why isn't he submitting this evidence to California, wherever Scott Peterson was from? I can't remember. He's in California prison, I think. This guy's an idiot, dude. Scott Peterson went for a new trial. So if Phil could prove this, last December 20th of 2022, Scott Peterson was denied a new trial in the murder of Lacey Peterson because they said that the new evidence or that he claimed to have was nowhere near enough to get him a new trial. Why didn't he go forward then? Why didn't he show up with this stuff that he could prove it? Watching on Rumble, Twitch, and YouTube, I have issues. Oh, thank you. No, that helps. Helps the algorithm. I appreciate it. Watch everywhere. Have them all open. All the tabs. Why didn't he show up at this guy's hearing and keep him off death row? Wouldn't that have been nice? Scott Peterson was denied a new trial in the 2002 murder of his pregnant wife, Lacey, on Tuesday. CBS News reports he will remain in jail to serve life prison without the possibility of parole. Lacey Peterson went missing on Christmas Eve of 2002 while she was 8 months pregnant with their son she had named Connor. Scott Peterson claimed that she was killed sometime after he left their Modesto, California home on the morning of December 24th, 2002 to go fishing in the San Francisco Bay. He soon became the prime suspect following a growing police and public suspicion. After months of jury selection and then a trial, Scott was convicted on November 14, 2004 of first-degree murder of Lacey Peterson, second-degree murder of Connor Peterson. Scott Peterson, 50, and his legal team had argued that a juror in his 2004 murder trial, Rochelle Nice, committed misconduct and bid for a new trial. His attorneys alleged that Nice lied on a pretrial questionnaire and argued she was biased against him. In Tuesday's ruling, San Mateo County Superior Court Judge Ann Christine Masulo wrote that the court concluded that juror number 7's Miss Nice's responses on the questionnaire were not motivated by pre-existing or improper bias against the petitioner, Peterson, but instead were the result of a combination of good faith misunderstanding of the question and sloppiness in answering. Pat Harris, his attorney for Peterson, did not immediately return Rolling Stone's request for comment. Harris told CBS News in a statement that the case is not over, and they said they had new evidence that allegedly proves Peterson did not murder his wife. Harris added that he respectfully disagreed with the judge's decision, and Nice did not commit misconduct. Jury questionnaires and attorneys who read them depend on the honesty of the answers in order to get a fair trial. Harris continued in his statement to CBS News, it will make it difficult if jurors believe they can lie and there will be no repercussions. 2 years after the California Supreme Court overturned his death sentence. Oh, his death sentence is overturned. Peterson was moved off death row in October and transferred to Sacramento's Mule Creek State Prison. Now, again, you can certainly have the belief, like, I think he was set up. I don't think it happened like this. I think it was biased against him. I think this. I think that's sure. But to come out and say, I can prove it. This is not your wheelhouse. This is not something that you cover. This is not something you talk about. This is not something you do on a regular basis. What the hell is wrong with you? Remember Scott's girlfriend? Yeah, what was her name? The really sad case, I think, when you go back, and a YouTuber exposed this. I don't know if you guys know this. Amber Frey. Hold on just a second. I know we're getting sidetracked, but that's okay. We just go where the show leads us. A YouTuber found this evidence before anybody else did. Chris Watts. You guys know the story of Chris Watts? So Chris Watts murdered his wife. The Colorado man who's serving a life sentence for killing his pregnant wife and $2 confessed in a prison interview that his daughters were still alive when he put his wife's dead body in his truck and drove his family to the oil field where all three bodies were found, according to the investigation report and audio recording. During nearly a 5-hour interview with the investigators last month, Mr. Watts, 33, revealed that he killed his family over a longer period of time in August than was previously reported and painted a disturbing picture of his daughter's final moments. He said that when he strangled his wife, Shannon Watts, after a fight at their home in Frederick, Colorado, and that his 4-year-old daughter, Bella, witnessed him dragging the body downstairs. What is wrong with mommy? Bella cried, according to his account. He then loaded Bella and her 3-year-old Celeste into the back seat of his truck with his mother's body nearby on the floorboard and drove them about 45 minutes to the oil site. He said when he got there, he used a blanket to smother Celeste, who was nicknamed Cece, and dropped her in an oil tank before doing the same to Bella. Is the same thing going to happen to me as Cece? Bella asked.
Gifted Shadage 76 a subscription.
Thank you very much.
_ you betcha gifted a tier 1 sub to Shadage 76.
Thank you for the gifted sub.
In the channel.
I appreciate it. When he got there, he said he used a blanket to smother Cece, and then the other girl said, is the same thing going to happen to me as Cece? Bella asked before she died, according to his account. The revelation of Watts' girls died after the prolonged episode that ended at the oil site rather than at home was the latest turn involving blah, 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 who went on television soon after his wife and children vanished and said he did not know where they were. That's awful. That's awful. So let me show you something. Neighbor. There was a YouTuber that found this information out. We have to find the zoomed in version of it. If we can. That you can tell if you go back through. Okay, here it is. I think this is it. Let me see if this is the right video or not. There's a zoomed in version of the video that I want to see. That's not it. That's the one that claims that it wasn't him, it was his girlfriend or whatever. So anyways, so he makes several trips to his truck. Loading the truck after murders. Is that it? Hold on. Maybe I need to put in shadow. So those tanks for a while, even and empty, they are dark. Oh, I'm sure. Okay, I think maybe this is it. So check this out. This is security cam footage. Now, everybody knows this security cam footage. We're just zoomed in. This is the neighbor's truck, the neighbor's house and car. This is Chris Watt's truck. That is backed. He never backed in, but for some reason he's backed in the garage this morning when all this happens. Now, I want to show you a couple of things. This video might point them out, but either way. Was one or maybe both the girls alive? This is before he admitted it, okay? A YouTuber found this. And tried to give it to the Colorado prosecutors, or like later on after they'd already been convicted, and saying, hey, no, the kids were alive. You got it wrong like you did. And they didn't pay him any attention until he confessed about it. Check this out. Now it's even creepier. All right, so you saw him walk by and you saw his shadow underneath the truck, right? You saw his shadow. He just walked by. I know it's really blurry. It's a zoomed in security cam footage, but you saw his shadow go underneath the truck as well. Okay, now he's in the truck because he got the back door open. He's probably carried out his wife and loading her. I can't remember how this went down. Get ready for it. Did you see that? Get ready for it. Shadow coming out of the garage. Chris right there. Did you see it? He is coming this way. Shadow's going this way, and he bends over and picks it up. He bends over and picks it up. His daughter was either in the garage or walked out in the garage and walked to him. It's just a conspiracy theory that his girlfriend helped him, but a lot of people believe it. Now slowed down 50% without any markings. He's going this way, the shadow's going the other way, and he bends over and picks it up. And this was when, again, they thought that the kids, right there, he bends over, picks it up. This is when he thought he had already, they assumed that he had murdered his whole family at the house, then took the bodies out there. But a YouTuber found this. And said, no, look at that shadow. And when the YouTuber submitted, I can't remember what the guy's name was. He's got a channel. When he submitted it, he's like, look, the worst case here is that this is a dog or a family pet or something, but something that is not tall enough to be seen over the truck walks out of the garage. He bends over and picks it up and loads it into a truck, and a YouTuber found it, which is just wild. I want to say his name had something like Umbrella in it. The guy who found this, his name had something like Umbrella. I can't remember for sure, but there's a YouTuber who found this and submitted this. Had literally been a true crime YouTuber when all this happened and blah, blah, blah. It's crazy. I know it's hard to see, but yes. So he's at the truck, and a shadow goes this way. Well, I guess it'd be, no, it goes that way across the screen. He's over here standing at his truck, and a shadow comes up to him. He meets it halfway. His shadow's going the other way, picks it up. Now there's no more shadow, just one. So he picked up it, right? That was the point where he picked up his kid. And at the time, they were still saying, the umbrella guy, is that him? The umbrella guy? Let me see. It might be. I wanted to say his name had umbrella in it. I think that is that umbrella guy. I think that is him. Let's see. Videos. Most popular. I think he's the one who figured it all out back in the day and submitted it and was really upset that police weren't taking it serious. Thank you, guys. I couldn't remember his name at all. I just knew it had something in it. Thank you. Either way, he submitted this, and it was just, this is, everybody knows this footage. I'll show you the other one. There's more footage like this. Everybody knew this footage at the time because it was the neighbor's security camera. And what people were arguing was like, is this a, so what happens is way early in the morning, Chris's truck is parked on the road, and he comes out of the garage, walks to his truck, walks back to the garage, walks back to the truck, and then backs it in. He never backs it into the garage. His neighbor said, I even thought it was weird. Is he loading something? Is something going on here? Because he always parks on the road. Well, that first time that he goes out of the garage, people that believe that his girlfriend helped him believe that it was his girlfriend wearing clothes similar to him. He walked like a woman kind of deal. It's this one right here. Let me see if I can show you the video. Here you go. So this is like part of the, they say she has a ponytail and everything. I don't know if I believe this or not. I know that I believe that he's a useless piece of shit. You know what I mean? Who is she ponytail? This is from a channel called Miss J, Jayde.
This is a video that I have told some people.
Oh my God, she's so freaking quiet.
Now in this video, it shows somebody else coming out of Chris Watts' garage the morning that he was seen loading his family's.
Now this is when his truck is parked on the road still. Obviously it's not backed in. Same camera, same neighbor, same everything.
Into his truck. Now this is just my opinion, of course, but I do believe that it's a female. So I'm going to play this for you guys in slow motion, and hopefully you can see what I see, and I'll play it for you a couple of times. So here we go.
All right, so that, now prosecutors say that's Chris Watts walking out to his truck, and there's a car that drives down the road later. There's like a set of headlights. Other people say it's his girlfriend.
Right, I'm just going to go back again, and I want to pause it and show you exactly where I see a real good view. Bang, right there. I can see her hair is slicked back into a ponytail. Dark brown hair. And if you go one more second forward, she sort of turns her head to the side, and you can see the like sideburn little bit of hair that comes down the side of her ear. And I'm wondering what is in her left hand. She's carrying something. I'm not sure what it is. It could be Shanann's purse, or it could be Chris Watts' lunchbox maybe, or something he takes to work so that she looks like him when she's coming out of his house. I'm actually really surprised that she hasn't tucked her hair in or put on a baseball cap or tried to disguise herself.
I don't see a ponytail either. I do see some hair like down like that would be a sideburn, but most men have sideburns.
Okay, I just want to show you guys this.
There you go. Your vocal twin, sure.
Body cams footage. So right here is where Shanann's suitcase is, at the bottom of the stairs when she arrived home, and in the corner the officer finds some clothing, and when he finds it he asks Chris, whose are these? And Chris is like, oh, they're mine. And you can see the panic in Chris Watts' face. He's
okay, we're looking for panic.
The officer holds up some jeans, but this officer with the body cam, I wish he had like angled his body down so that we could have seen the pile of clothing. I would have been interested to.
This isn't the guy. I'm sorry, I got distracted. You know how my mind wanders, the PTSD and all. This is actually, it's clear as Sasquatch footage. You're right. This is actually a different case. That was as big as the Peterson case. This is the Chris Watts case. Peterson is the one that murdered his wife and had a girlfriend, Amber Frey or Fry or whatever you say it. And was easily convicted, blah, blah, blah. This is Chris Watts. Chris Watts has admitted to it. This is a different case.
See definitely what articles of clothing it was that the officer saw. Although he picked up a pair of jeans, and we sort of saw it as he picked it up.
Okay, just play it.
I believe was wearing these clothes that. Look at Chris's face. He's so nervous. He looks at his phone. He's like breathing heavily.
The guy just murdered his wife and kids. I don't think you could say he's nervous because these pants. You know what I'm saying? Like,
scared.
He was nervous the whole time. Even when he did when he like was over at the neighbor's house and looking at the neighbor's security, and they're asking him like, is this your truck? What's this going on? Blah, all that stuff. He was nervous the whole time. To me, every time I've seen police body cam footage of him, he's looked like a nervous wreck. Even now in the interviews, he looks nervous when he's talking to him.
Items of clothing. Did you see?
Here's the most replayed part.
The pair of jeans that were on the floor, and I'm not sure if anything else was with them.
Who is she? Ponytail. Way up here? No. Way up here? Oh, that's just how it ends, I guess. It's just still frame of it. All right, somebody said this video. I haven't seen this. Open link in a new tab.
There's plenty of first in here.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What in oh my gosh. What in the world was that? Wow.
This video?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. What in the world?
Sounds like a toy. It's too perfect. It's too perfect to be a kid.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I don't think it's a kid. Wow. I understand why people are saying it is, but I don't think it's too perfect.
Step on that little blue thing and see if that's where that noise came.
Yeah, it sounded like a kid toy.
It might.
Not to mention, wouldn't the damn dog be going crazy?
Sort of sounds like it.
Something. There was a. I heard it.
That one, did you hear it?
I did.
Sounded like a kid or something, didn't it? Or a kid.
It was too perfect. I don't even think I could make it sound that perfect. Not three of them.
Because all he did was go straight in there.
It's weird. I'll show you Scott Peterson in just a second. You probably remember Scott Peterson. It was a huge case. It was a huge case.
I heard it. I definitely heard the same thing you did.
Yeah, and then he just sort of turned around and looked. But I didn't expect it to register.
Something else just played there at the end. I wonder if somebody does a quick Scott, like a quick rundown. Scott Peterson murder. I want to see if there's like a quick breakdown so you guys refresh you who Scott Peterson is. Because it was huge. It was all over like national news and all that shit. That's a documentary. That's not going to be quick. The Perfect Husband. I think me and Mariah watched that, didn't we? Didn't you watch this, Mariah? The Perfect Husband, the Lacey Peterson story or whatever? I only saw clips of it. The Ghost of Shannon Watson, daughter, paranormal research. That's kind of disgusting, guys. To go paranormal research, somebody... It's different when it's disconnected by hundreds of years, but when you're talking about somebody that got murdered like 10 years ago, that's kind of disgusting. Here's a 2-minute clip from Inside Edition. They'll probably copyright strike me, but we'll see if we can get it going.
It's been almost 2 decades since a pregnant Lacey Peterson went missing on Christmas Eve. Her husband, Scott, was later sentenced to death for her murder and her unborn son. Today, Peterson was back in court to be resentenced after his death sentence was overturned. As Jim Murray reports,
sorry it was so loud.
Divided between members from both families who've not been face to face in years.
Wife killer Scott Peterson returned to court for another day of reckoning. This just-released mugshot shows him as he looks now, age 49. Little change from 17 years ago when he stood...
Look at this. This is what pissed people off. Look at this fucking smirk, dude. Like, it's one thing. It's one thing to show up to court and the husband or wife, the significant other, always the most suspected, circumstantial. It's a whole nother thing. Even if he didn't commit I think he forgot. Even if he didn't kill them, his wife is still missing. His pregnant wife is still missing.
Trial for murdering his pregnant wife Lacey and their unborn son Connor in a case that riveted the nation. Peterson's family marched into the courtroom.
He did see them and gave them a big warm smile when he entered the courtroom.
Lacey's family was also present, but came through a private door. At today's hearing, 16 seats were allocated for Lacey's family and friends, and 16 for Peterson supporters. It's the first time Lacey's loved ones have come face to face with her killer in nearly 2 decades. They heard the judge re-sentence Peterson to life imprisonment, and he is no longer on death row in San Quentin. His original death sentence was overturned. Peterson dumped Lacey's body in San Francisco Bay on Christmas Eve 2002. It was
on Christmas Eve, dude.
Later revealed Peterson had been having an affair with massage therapist Amber Fry. At today's hearing, Lacey's mother told Peterson, "I have seen no sorrow or remorse from you at all." Lacey's death.
I've been trying to find out for the last 20 years if Amber Fry still does massages. Don't threaten me with a good time.
No sorrow or remorse from you at all. Lacey's dead, Scott, because she loved you.
She finished up by saying, 2 facts remain the same all these years later. Number 1, Lacey and Connor are still dead. And number 2, you killed him. And then she walked off.
Lacey's sister Amy told him, "There have been so many special occasions that Lacey and Connor should have been here for. It makes me sick being here today in front of you again." Speaking outside.
That's always sad.
Peterson's sister-in-law, Jamie Peterson, who insists he is innocent.
He's been in prison for over 18 years for a crime he did not commit.
Peterson hopes to get the guilty verdict overturned in a hearing expected to be held next year. Legal experts call that a long shot.
I knew he was innocent. I can prove it. I can prove it. That's what Phil though says.
You betcha gifted Merbird a subscription.
Guys,
you
listen.
Gifted a tier 1 sub to Merbird.
The only time I can talk shit about Mariah and she doesn't know it is when the ads are running. When the ads are running. We have 3 minutes to talk about Mariah every 50 minutes. Let me have my piece. When Lacey was still missing, he sat for an interview in his living room, and at one point his phone went off, and Scott didn't even bother checking his phone. Everyone said, "When you want to check?" Yeah, he was kind of weird about the whole search thing. He never did a really good job of playing like husbands who's concerned. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. He was a piece of shit. Let's see here. Scott Peterson. Scott Peterson was, I don't know, he was just a piece of shit. I don't know how, there's one thing saying I think he was set up, or his family saying I think he's innocent, or I think this, I think that. There's a whole nother thing to Phil just coming out and saying, and another thing, you heard me right, I can prove it. He's an idiot. Phil can't prove shit. Phil can't prove he was with the CIA. Phil can't. Let me read you some, now that Phil's on a non-verbal basis with me, let me read you some messages I sent Phil. So, from the interview, I had Phil's number to text. I guess it's the same number you guys got. It's not like a secret number, but I had texted him from the interview that we did. Let's see what we got here. I went all the way back to the... Okay, here, it's somewhere around here. Okay. I said, did you announce that SCOTUS has officially overturned the election already, but they just haven't announced it to the public? Yes. I said, wow. I don't know what your exit strategy is, but this should be interesting. I put a big pause, then interesting. No exit strategy needed. No exit strategy needed. I wouldn't have made such an announcement if it wasn't a sure thing. Okay, man. I know your show and your income source, and you have a family and all that. There's no need to try to convince me. I have a few friends in very, very special places who I used to work with and who I talk to regularly. I know you probably don't know my background, and I only share a very limited amount of it online. I don't use that for my credibility. But But I think we both know this isn't happening. Anyways, I wasn't fishing for something. I was just making a comment. I'm not sure who your contacts are, but unless they reach to Trump administration and high, there's no chance they would have the information that my source does. My man, I know you think I'm doing all of this for attention, for the money, or for the fun, but I'm not doing it for any of those things. I have a vested interest in the future of our country. I know it's hard to believe my story and background, but that was by design. It's supposed to be hard because it was made to be hard. In time, everything will become very clear. I will admit, and I admit this to my audience too, in fact, I have in the past that sometimes I provide a slight amount of disinformation to throw people in a different direction than the direction they were headed. I do this to protect myself and to protect my source. Some of the haters will call me out on it. I really don't have a logical explanation for it. Why? Because it's false. But it's a small lie, a very unimportant one, just to throw people off my trail in case it gets too heavy. That said, all my intel is real. Nothing I have ever reported intel-wise has been false. Nothing I have ever reported intel-wise has been false. And if it has, I have been lied to by my best friend in the whole world, and I see no reason for him to do it. Sure, man. I already requested if anybody could find your SF-86 or your EQIP, which are documents you would take for a background check, to see if you were in the system. None of your background is real. Good luck with that. You won't find a single trace of my name anywhere. That's not how things are done in my line of work. But I'm telling you, I know people in the line of work that you claim, and I have worked with them. Wink, wink. I know how it's handled. That's not how things are done in my line of work. Real names get assassinated for things we do. I can't take that risk, so precautions were necessary. The things I've done, Will, are considered treason according to this cabal-run world government. We took precautions to make sure I could live out my life instead of being on the run. I said, Phil, that's not how it works. I did the lies you tell. I was there for some of the bullshit that you've made up. I served in those positions. You can't bullshit someone who has lived that life. You can't do it. He says, time. All we need is time. Then you and I will be on the same page. Won't be too much longer. Maybe we team up once this shit goes down. We'll see. But time is essential. Once it passes, you'll see what I've been saying is true. Keep reporting on the Scranton Times. They're screwed. Big time screwed. I said, absolutely. I like court documents and stuff. I might cover some other cases too. Yeah, that's your niche. He doesn't want me covering him anymore. He wants me covering court documents. This motherfucker, like, okay, I'm not trying to say I was like Secret Squirrel or none of that shit. But I've been in some very, very, how do I put this? I've been in some positions that not only required me to work with those types of people, but required me to pass the same background checks, the same entrance courses, the same, basically like a mini boot camp training centers with some high-level contractors who start. You guys ever seen? You guys ever seen the movie? Damn it, my mind went blank. The movie from 13 Hours. You guys ever seen 13 Hours? You guys know that the majority of people from 13 Hours are all contractors, right? Like the team that's there from 13 Hours are American contractors. Now they are at a CIA site. But they are contractors. The people that are there with the CIA, the people that are there with the CIA, like actually work for the CIA, like have a CIA badge, and they're not contractors, they work for the government. They're the people that are in the site running intel and collecting data and filing reports. The contractors are there for the security purposes to run securities. They're running their own little mission. They run their own little snatch. Those are contractors. Contractors end up in a lot of, if you're with the right contracting company, if you have the right background and know the right people, contractors end up in some very illicit and dangerous situations a lot of times. Now, I'm not saying that field agents for the CIA don't exist. They do. They have embedded agents. They have badass agents. They have CIA fucking strike teams and shit, and they're badasses. But we just didn't have enough people to cover that. So contractors performed a lot of this work. Also, another thing, contractors are not bound by some of the other limitations as government personnel and military are. Contractors sometimes are assigned directly to like a lieutenant governor or a lieutenant general or a lieutenant colonel or a brigadier general, and they're sent out to do work that their units can't do because of the current rules of engagement, the current air condition, the current stipulations that have been set for a combat sector. A lot of times you're assigned to some pretty high brass on a fob or a cob or whatever, and you're sent out to do something that the soldiers just can't do. And it's pretty high profile shit. I mean, like, I don't know if you guys know what, like, Blackwater and Triple Canopy and some of the KBR guys and shit were doing over in Iraq, but it's not like they were serving lunch. It's not like they were serving lunch. Like, they were running some pretty high-profile missions and doing some pretty extreme fucking things because we didn't have enough manpower. It was easier. So, like, how can I put this? Let's say the Army has a regulation that at this FOB, we don't run any missions unless we've got at least 2 helos on standby for escort or air support, and we've got, or for medevac, let's say for medevac, and then we've got some type of overwatch like a drone or even a fucking an airplane that's got overwatch. And they have a rule, a hard rule, that unless we have 2 helos for either escort or medevac and some type of UAV, we do not run these missions, these certain types of high-profile missions. That applies to those soldiers and the soldiers in that command. They have zero regrets with saying, "Oh, but we got some guys over here from fucking Blackwater. They'll do it." Like, they don't give a fuck. Like, we're paying them. Like, just ask them to do it. They'll go do it. And they will. Not that soldiers wouldn't do a decent job. They would, but they're bound by the regulations. They're bound by command. They're bound by rules of engagement. They're bound by a lot of things. I know a lot of people personally in the contracting world, in the military, in some decent places. I've met a lot of people when I served and hung out with people. I just... Even if I was a nobody, even if I never did anything and I just did what I did or what I still know a lot of people that ended up a lot of places with a lot of clearances. And I've ran shit like Phil by them. I've ran shit like, hey, you have any idea this guy on your radar? No, you never heard of him? Let me tell you his background. Oh, that's bullshit. Yeah, that's bullshit. He can't be that. He can't be that. There is no way that any of Phil's stories legit. I'm just saying, if it wasn't good enough that I personally can call it bullshit for common sense, you personally can call it bullshit from common sense. We all can personally call bullshit from common sense. I do have people in that field of work that I can contact immediately. I could send a couple text messages and a Facebook message right now and probably contact 4 people that are in that line of work. And all of them would back up the story. All of them would back up the story in a heartbeat. Oh God.
Phil's story doesn't make sense to anybody.
Whether you have a service record, whether you've been a contractor, whether you've worked for DOD, whether you've never done any of those things, it doesn't make any fucking sense. And he can't make that make sense. To be Edward Snowden, so he claims that he was in the CIA in high school until 9/11, or until just after 9/11. And then he claims that he went to the NSA to be Edward Snowden. Well, that kind of conflicts with the time he worked at a gas station, the time he worked with Subway, and when he got his real estate license and technically went to college and can't find any of his degrees or any of his diplomas for the several degrees he has. Then he expects us to come back. If he was Edward Snowden, he would have had to have went all the way through 2013 with the NSA. But then they gave him a new name and a new background and got rid of him. But they forgot to take care of that pesky little 2010 charge that they knew would come back to bite him in the ass. Like, he didn't even think his own lies through. If the CIA or the NSA is going to go as far as to hire a fucking actor to play you so you can go back and live your life without being assassinated, don't you think they could get rid of a couple court records that say that you were charged with sleeping with a 15-year-old girl while you were a 25-year-old baseball coach? Wouldn't you think? Wouldn't that make sense? You would think, but apparently not. If I'm going to make you a whole new fucking background, I damn sure am not. And you're supposed to be the key to this. You're my guy. You're going to disseminate all the information. Everybody's going to trust you. Everybody's going to follow you. I'm going to give you all this intel. This is how we're going to set this plan up. You couldn't make a 2010 charge go away for fucking around. Like, you couldn't make that go. Of course you could. You're saying they invented an actor to play you and flee the country and do interviews for the next fucking 20 years, but they couldn't make a charge go away? That's what they claim. That's what they claim either way. Anyway, I don't know. How the fuck was he even... The real question should be, if he was Edward Snowden, if that's his claim, that Edward Snowden is based on him, how the fuck could he have even been a baseball coach in 2010? Because Snowden started working for the NSA in 2009. How was he even around to be a baseball coach in 2010, working for the NSA through Dell at Yokota Air Base in Tokyo? Like, that doesn't make much sense. Whatever. None of it adds up. Phil's a fucking lying piece of shit. You guys can check him out if you want to, and just stay on him. Don't let him push his lies on you. I'm not saying troll him or harass him or give him more evidence to take to the Scranton case, Scranton Times case, like some of the screaming retards do in the hate groups. But don't let him pass these lies off. I know it's getting old. I know everybody's like, well, when's he going to finally quit? Well, when's this going to come to an end? Trust me, I'm like that too. I wish this shit was gone tomorrow. I wish I could go back to flying my drone and playing video games all the time and never think about these grifters again. But there's still real people being hurt. There's still real people being scammed. There are still real people that are sending him very, very, very real precious resources that they probably can't afford to, and still believe in him every day. And until it implodes on himself, I'm going to be covering it. And if you want to see me do something else, tune in during the day. I play video games. We've been playing Baldur's Gate 3, me and Bullshiffer. I fly my drone a lot of times on the weekend. I have a 100+ mile an hour FPV drone that I fuck around with. The thing's fucking awesome. I fly it a lot of times. I do other things, but for right now, I've got to keep the pressure on until something pops. I would hate to think like I quit covering something and then somebody's grandma or aunt or whatever invested a large sum of money into some piece of shit who's going to have to disappear in a few years. So thank you guys for joining us. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. I'm going to end that one here tonight. Tomorrow we got a free show and a Patreon show. But before that, during the day, come join us. I'm going to try to be here about 12 or something. I was on a voice chat for most of the morning this morning. I was actually here pretty early, like 11 or something. I'm going to try to come on maybe about lunch and play some video games of bullshit for tomorrow if he's around. If you want to come join us, that's when we hang out. That's when we chill. That's when we do other things. It'll be on Twitch, twitch.tv, Cold Beer Confessional. And it'll be on YouTube under Cold Beer Creations. Cold Beer Creations. You want to watch on either one of those? You're more than welcome. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for the donations. Thank you for the support. I appreciate it. Everybody have a good night. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. And if you want to support the show while we're offline, go to coldbeer.fund, coldbeer.fund. That's this website right here. You can donate, but more importantly, you can follow me on my other social media websites just in case I disappear. Come out and watch the game stream tomorrow. We've been having a lot of fun. We've been making a lot of jokes. Occasionally, we'll even make a joke about Phil or one of his, Scott McKay or one of their cohorts. But a lot of it's just trying to figure out why we're so bad at gaming. Thank you for joining us. I'll see everybody on the next one. Have a good night. Love you. See you. Bye, guys. Have a good one. Oh, shout out to Lecture Fan for the raid and the new people who come and hung out with us tonight. I appreciate you guys. Tomorrow, if you're watching on Twitch, just show up here tomorrow. Subscribe and get the, or I'm sorry, follow and get the alert. Don't pay to subscribe if you don't want to. Follow and get the alert and show up here tomorrow about lunchtime. We'll be playing some video games for a few hours. Just, if nothing else, it's something to play in the background to kill the time. And me and Bullshiffer don't get along at all, so that's kind of funny. Think about running his ass off. Or if you want to watch on YouTube, youtube.com/coldbeercreations. They just shared it. Here it is. I'm going to drop my link for my other thing. I was banned on Facebook. I was banned on Facebook tonight. That's why the show went off. YouTube.com/@coldbeercreations. YouTube.com/@coldbeercreations. Put that link in. Follow me there. You can watch the gaming content. We'll have some good content over there. We have fun. Yori even popped into chat there earlier today. I might start opening the chat, let people call in and talk to us while we're gaming or take questions or something if you want to. We'll figure something out. Thank you. Never forget this face. They said I shared nudity. I didn't share any nudity, but that's what they said. Someone sent me an email or a message that says, who do I email to join Telegram? You don't email anybody to join Telegram. You go to t.me/popupbeermanchat, the Telegram link that I share everywhere on coldbeer.fund. And then one of my moderators will send you a message. Just respond and prove you're not a bot. And there you go. Yeah, I need to get up there. I got a new radio coming. It's a little bit stronger. It's 1 watt instead of 250 megawatts. So I get a little bit better flight signal. But I wish I could find it open one day and get in there and fly the quarry. I don't want to get behind like some limestone or something, block the signal, and drone fall out of the air. Because like FPV drones don't have like return to home if signal's lost. They just fall out of the air.
The big house. Our brains are bigger than the doubt. We've been thinking for ourselves. Never let the truth fade away.
Support the show, guys. Coldbeer.fund. Like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. We'll see y'all tomorrow. Come watch us play some games in the morning. Well, in the around lunchtime. It'll be fun.